This podcast is brought to you by our wonderful Anime Addicts community. And if you would like to support the podcast, you can go to aapodcast.com/join or Patreon. You're going to get all of our exclusive content. You're going to get exclusive access to our mobile, to our RSS feed for all that exclusive content, so you can listen via your favorite apps. Our Undying Love, Kiss My Bald Head, you know how it goes. And now, time to start the show.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at AAApodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello and welcome everyone to episode 696 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast, and I would like to formally welcome everybody to sweater weather. We've made it. We're in the fall. It's nice and cozy, and we hope that you are having a good time listening to us wherever you are as we try to make your anime addiction worse. With me today is two co-hosts that I'm very pleased to announce because they're going to help me talk about a lot of anime today that I could not do myself. First up, wearing the Brady Tampa Bay shirt, head looking fine, on point. We got Mitsugi, looking dapper.
I'm not wearing pants.
Never mind, he's not looking dapper.
I also have an old-fashioned, which I made complete with bourbon cherries. I got some nice old-fashioned glasses, the giant ice cubes, I got the whole kit and caboodle. But I took my pants off.
I'm more of a fan of steel cut, but
took my pants off before I started drinking this old-fashioned, so it's all natural, baby. The madness is deep within me.
This was a choice made, as with the star of the show, Caroline, looking very cozy. You want to tell us what you got rocking on with your wardrobe and scented candle situation?
Yes.
Set the mood.
Long sleeve shirt, blanket, knitted blanket is on. Spiced apple toddy candle has been running for a while now. You're a toddy.
I'm asking you for real. What is a toddy? Do you even know?
I have no idea.
You don't know. You're just talking shit.
That's like a hot tea. Actually, no. Is it like a hot tea or something like that?
I
always think of hottie toddy.
No.
A hottie toddy is like it's like a tea with a bunch of alcohol in it. So that's what I have to go off on today. It is also terrible weather this weekend. The rest of the week was gorgeous autumn sun and nice crispness. This weekend has been terrible, though. It's a little too cold, so much rain. It washed out my cousin's bridal shower yesterday. It was a literal shower, but even more so. It was like a bridal cyclone, as they say.
Wow. Jeez. A toddy is also known as hot whiskey in Ireland, is typically a mixed drink made of liquor and water with honey, lemon, herbs, spices, and served hot. So it's liquor, basically.
Yes.
It's an alcoholic
I'm not smelling
tea.
much liquor here, but
Yeah.
There we go. Now the mood has been set. We hope that
That's
you
right.
are equally comfortable. And we hope that you are joining us live on Twitch, where we stream every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. If you're able to make it, come on by. It's a fun time. It's a fun chat. And you're the first to know what the heck we do on this crazy podcast. But if you miss it, you can always go to our Twitter, our TikTok, our Facebook, Instagram, or Discord to hang out with all your other anime addicts as well. So we recommend checking any of those out if you're a fan. Housekeeping out of the way, let us move on to talk about what we're talking about today, which is a whole heck of a lot because we are doing our fall 2023 anime selections. We are running through 21 shows that we think might be maybe sort of okay, and let you know what we are anticipating with that, as well as a review of last season's My Happy Marriage to see if it really is all it claims to be.
I need a
Anything
crying
else?
drop. It's not so happy. It's just crying. Sadness.
Maybe. Only time will tell. So, with that, let us get to the big news of the week.
It's time for big news of the week.
Hey, let's go. Hey, let's go. Ghibli's now a subsidiary. That didn't rhyme quite as well as I thought. And Caroline's camera is frozen in a very unfortunate spot. Okay, it's now off. I think we all knew this was coming, although I forgot all about it. Nippon Ichi Television, or Nippon TV, which is maybe the biggest TV station in Japan, has agreed to make Studio Ghibli its subsidiary. Nippon TV acquired 42% of the shares of Ghibli. Hiroyuki Fukuda, a senior operating official at Nippon TV, is going to be Ghibli's new president. The current president and co-founder, Toshio Suzuki, will undertake the position of representative director and chairman of the board. Miyazaki will transition to the role of chairman emeritus, whatever the fuck that is. Goro Miyazaki will serve as the managing director. So, and as we all know, Takahata's dead, so he's not involved. But rest his soul. So, sounds like a very respectful transition.
So hard that it canceled the stream.
Caroline's still glitched. She's still frozen.
She's fighting for her life out here. We should be back, though.
So basically, Studio Ghibli needed to do this transition. Their leadership's just too old, and they now have a theme park, which is like a massive undertaking, and a lot of other things that are involved. You know, they've got merchandise, they've got stores, they have the museum. Fuck me, they're still making movies. It's just more is going on at Ghibli now than probably ever, despite people's thoughts that it was getting ready to shut down. And you need more people to run a company like that. So I think it's kind of weird, but it's also probably a good thing. Do you have any thoughts, Mason?
I mean, it's upsetting because when something is so good and so genuine, you want to see it go on forever. But obviously, we're nearing the end of an era, and while as anime fans we might want to hold on to what we think is the idea of Ghibli, it's needs to transition, it needs to evolve, it needs to change, and it makes sense in a way. The leadership is not present in one way or another, and this is just how the brand will continue. And we'll see what they produce. We'll always have what they came out with, and it's not like as crushing to me as I think if you told me, oh, Ghibli is no longer its own thing anymore. Yeah, it's fine. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, Ghibli's a little bit like a kingdom, sort of. There has
dreams
to be
and madness.
There has to be an heir apparent, I mean, and as far as I know, Miyazaki only has one kid, and Goro Miyazaki wasn't really interested in dealing with all this, which the article also said. But to be honest with you, I mean, I don't know. Caroline just keeps coming back in and out, but she needs to go reset her router because that sucker is not working. Your router is done. You need to reset that router, Caroline.
I don't know how to do this shit. What?
Unplug it
It's
and
not
plug it back
working?
in. It's not working.
I don't know which is the plug to the router, because
The
there's
power
some.
cord.
Ugh, I hate this stuff.
The
There's
power
At least
cord.
we
the
can hear you
reason
now.
why I'm not in technology. There are several plugs, Mitsuki. I'm not sure what is the router and what isn't. I can give it my best shot, but if it's working now, I'd rather we just continue.
You're good now.
She's not good. It's still stuck.
No, she looks good on my end. I mean,
Really?
she looks very happy and not moving, but that's
her
okay. We can
videos-
hear her.
Her video is frozen. It's gonna go back to robot here any second.
All right,
okay.
I'll excuse myself.
I appreciate
I'll be
you.
back.
I appreciate you more than most people, but if you can't unplug the power cord from the wall,
Well,
There's
it's
no
whoever
hope.
goes into. Okay, you're gonna have a thing
I
in the
know
basement.
Oh,
that-
how to unplug a cord. The problem is I don't know what specifically is the router and what is some other shit.
look for the
and
little
how-
box
like,
with the
which
green
one is it?
flashing
That
lights
is
on
the
it.
problem.
The
at the-
router is the flashing lights that gives you internet. Don't
I know
worry
there's
about
like
the.
two things there. I don't know what's what. Never
Just do them
mind.
both. Why
I'll
not?
plug everything out. I'm gonna plug out
Hell
my
yeah.
I'm gonna go plug out my refrigerator now.
Let's do it.
Caroline's a lot like Pancake. She just like gets very angry and just pops off when she's frustrated.
We'd love to see it.
It's I'm like, Pancake, just calm down. Yes, I know. There's a car changing lanes on the highway. Relax. Jesus.
I'm sorry, people on Twitch. You're going to have to deal with our lovely Dorema and technical difficulty slide, but hopefully this will be funny for people listening.
I mean, I could actually fix this here. Hold on a second.
No, it's fine. It's better.
I can put our
He's more
camera view
cute
up.
than both of us.
All right. Mason, what do you have for the big news?
I have a bit of sad news as well, which is the guinea pig that is the voice actor for every Pui Pui Molcar character has tragically passed away. Sumugi, who is featured not only as the voice, but in the show of Molcar, has passed away to pneumonia, which is, sad because it's the death of an animal, but it's also more interesting to me in the announcements how the director wrote, Molcar would never have been born without Sumugi, and I'm sure he will continue to live on through his work, which is interesting because really, Sumugi is the pet of the director's sister. So this whole lore of just Pui Pui Molcar existed because he probably saw this cute little guinea pig and was like, we can do something with that. And that birthed a whole 2 seasons of some of my favorite stop motion content out there. So big ups to Sumugi. You made greatness happen, and we salute you.
Wow.
So even the smallest of creatures can help make great anime.
So the animal died of pneumonia.
Yeah.
I guess a guinea pig can die of pneumonia too. Sad.
So
they do smell bad though. They smell horrible. Guinea pigs are disgusting. Yeah. They are nasty. Nasty, disgusting. Oh, poor Caroline. I tried to put up the 2-person camera, but she has to leave the video.
Boom.
There we go.
Boom. I can make magic happen.
There we go. Now we're back in business.
We're so back, baby.
Yeah, we're back. Yeah, we're back. I'm just going to update my note here because God knows there's a lot of editing to do now. We don't edit a lot, but we do edit for things like this, obviously. All right. Well, boy, this is going to take a hot minute. So I have... it's time for the 2023 anime selections because, every season more anime comes out. And, by God, I'm going to take a drink to that. Here we go. I'm going to take a drink after every god-awful looking anime I have. I have 2 that I'm interested in, and the rest... well, I left some of them to Mason. I knew I wasn't going to get all these. I wasn't going to bother with a few of the top ones. Here comes Caroline. Is she coming back? Loading.
She's thinking about it.
And update my editing note again. She's back. She looks very angry.
This is so annoying. I hate the internet for multiple reasons. This is being one of them.
Because it's destroying our country?
No, because it's destroying me.
It is destroying our country, though.
The internet?
Well, what the internet has become.
Well, that's a different matter.
I mean, TikTok plus ChatGPT is basically destroying the youth of America, and I don't even want to hear an argument. So when kids are asking AI to do their math homework, we're all fucked. I mean, honestly.
I think that's more of a problem with the education system.
Well,
we can get
Where
into that.
are we now
day.
on this podcast?
We're about to talk about fall 2023 anime.
We are.
Oh, hell yeah. Wait a minute, I missed the news about the guinea pig dying?
Yeah.
Yeah, but no one cares.
I can't believe it.
Tragic.
They smell like poop anyway. I mean, nasty.
I bet Sumugi was killed by the internet.
Probably.
Yeah, if Mitz is anything to
Fuck
go by.
yeah.
Anyway.
All right, but I'm also
we each
old and
picked out 7
crotchety.
shows.
There's like 1,000 people listening to this while they scroll on TikTok. I'm amazed they can listen to a 2-hour podcast when it's just 10-second dopamine hits one after another.
It's okay. We occupy no brain cells in their mind, so this is just background noise.
Yep, and I'm updating my editing note again. So, good lord. All right, my first anime of the season is one that I'm not proud of. I'm gonna watch the trailer while I talk about it. And if you get our show notes, we have links to the trailers and all the show info on the show notes, so you can get that over at Patreon or aapodcast.com/join. I am a shill. So this first one is called Kami Erabi, which, and by the way, again, I picked these essentially based off of what you wanted to watch, because I don't fucking care really. I just want to cover what the people want, because I'm a man of the people, because that's just how great I am, you know? So there's a lot of stuff on here that basically you want to watch. It's not what I want, although I did put my favorite at the top. So Kami Adabi is shocking. This is just, I don't know, the same thing you've seen a million times. A high school student has no dreams or ambitions. The world isn't, he hates the world, whatever. One day he gets a text on his smartphone that says that he has been chosen, please make a wish. And he thought it was spam, whatever. And then, like, basically the plot of this story is that there's a bunch of God candidates, and whoever, they have to kill each other, and then the title of God is given to whoever. Didn't we just watch Platinum End?
That was
like a couple seasons ago.
Didn't we just have, what the hell was that Noblesse Oblige anime, Eden of the East? We had that. It's just not very
not while I was here. I don't remember that.
Well, yeah, Eden of the East, there's no way this will be as good as that, honestly. But, you know, this anime, honestly, I watched it. I watched the trailer. It's by Studio Unend, which is a new studio. The director is Hiroyuki Seishita of Ajin and Knights of Sidonia, which, yes, it is a CG anime, so there's another reason why probably nobody will watch this. I don't know why you guys want to watch this. Like, why? I don't know. Just saying.
It's not me.
It doesn't seem all that interesting. I mean, I just want unique ideas. I think we're at the point in just all media where we just are using the same ideas. Like, Disney's just doing everything in live action now. You know, Marvel is done. Video games are all just remaking shit. The writers are all on strike, and the anime is just redoing the same 10 ideas over and over. So this one doesn't. I'm probably not going to pass this. But here's what Pancake thought.
Why is it always you that get these really ugly look at this? Is this a phone game?
There you go. She's right. It does look horrific. So it looks like a cutscene from one of those like cookie cutter Tales like RPGs, basically. What's next?
I can go next. My number 10 pick of the season is Stardust Telepath, aka Hoshikuzu Telepath, sorry. It tells the story of Konohoshi Umika, who's a high schooler who is very bad at communicating with others, which is not the first time you'll hear me say that today. She feels like an alien trapped on Earth with no one to relate to, nowhere to belong, and she just wants to go out to the cosmos and meet aliens. And then one day, a girl who claims to be an actual alien comes to her school, and they befriend each other, and that's the plot. So this is done. Cute. Yeah, it's based on a manga. It's on Crunchyroll, and it's based on a four-koma manga. And my expectations are pretty muted, especially when considering that the disappointing Studio Gokumi, looking at you vending machine review next week, is the ones doing it. It looks competently basic in its PV. It looks pretty mild. A lot of cute girls that stutter and stammer themselves from social anxiety to Yuri bait, probably. Yeah, it's a lot of that. It feels like it's shooting. Senpai. It feels like it's shooting for the same fan base. No, of Asteroid in Love mixed with like Adachi and Shimamura. It's trying to play on those same notes. So didn't really wow me. Doesn't feel like it'll be all that much to say, but it might be a cozy show. It might be a comfy show. So we'll give it a couple episodes and see how it plays off the palate. But Stardust Telepath doesn't seem to be an outright top tier show off the bat.
All right, you're up.
Well, I did a great job with my role. I had nothing to do with my role, and yet I did a great job with it because I got except for my second pick, I got everything on my list. But I do think I will take a couple episodes of my backup pick, which isn't technically part of my impressions list, but I do want to talk about it. It's Kimi no Koto ga Daisuki na 100 nin no Kanojo. The 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. Because it sounds so stupid. And I feel like somebody needs to talk about it.
You should take the Inu Shiki whatever show where he goes da 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 da, but replace it with like da 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 ski.
Yeah, exactly. It just sounds so stupid, but it could work.
How is
It's
this-
about middle school guy. He gets rejected 100 times in middle school. He prays to God that he gets a girlfriend, and God says, "You know what? I will get you 100 girls to confess to you in high school." So now he has 100 soulmates to meet. But here's the thing: if he rejects, like whoever he does not accept as his soulmate, so that means 99 girls will die a horrible death. So now he's forced to be the boyfriend to 100 girls in order
That's
to make
so
them not
trashy, but that's such a more compelling plot than
It
so
could
many of
work.
the other shows on this list.
It
I'm excited
could
to hear
work.
what you
Rich.
think of it.
die. Yeah. So it was based on a manga and is being done by Bibury Animation Studios, who did Quintessential Quintuplets Season 2 and the movie. So we will see about that. Should I get into my actual 7th pick or move on?
Yeah, go for it.
What was that like?
Okay, so what's on my actual list? That's the backup. So
You covered
but
the
I think I
backup?
might want. I wanted to. I think I'm gonna watch it anyway. So yes. Why
We're like,
are you so upset?
I started off before this episode going, this is gonna be the longest episode ever. Here's Caroline adding. What the
Okay,
fuck?
I try to go through it quickly. I'm doing this quickly.
All right,
Here's
all right.
my number 7th. It was number 8 on my list. Watashi no Oshi wa Akuyaku Yureijo. I'm in love with the villainess. This is the Otome game anime of the season. Ordinary office worker
Ka-ching.
Rei Ohashi wakes up in the body of a protagonist of her favorite Otome game. To her delight, the first person that greets her is also her favorite character, Claire Francois, the main antagonist of the story. Now Rei is determined to romance Claire instead of the male leads. But how will her villainous lady love react to this new courtship? Based on a light novel by Platinum Vision, they have done Kono Oto Tomare. That's probably the best that they've done. I'm not expecting greatness, but I've kind of, branded myself as the Otome game watcher of this group, so I figured I will do it for the people.
The question. I've hardly had any of this
What?
drink. The question is, does there need to be an Otome game watcher of the group?
No, there does not need to
We
be.
haven't-
But
Mitch,
somehow I've
would you
gotten
rather
into
it
that
be
role.
you?
I'm only asking because I feel like these are always the anime that get like left on the review list that never get done.
It
Am I
probably
wrong?
will
They
not
get left
pass.
by
But I
Caroline.
needed a. Listen, you're
I'm just
doing
asking.
Death Game number 1000. You don't need to judge me for
Nope.
having Otome Game number 1000.
Nope. I did my picks in less than 3 minutes. I did them exactly off of what was listed as popular. I didn't read
Yeah,
about it. I didn't
but
care.
don't judge me when you're doing the exact same thing.
I'm just telling you, we haven't done the last Otome game review from winter 2022, and that's like 9 months ago.
What Otome Game review?
Tsundere Akuyaku
not
Reijo Ristolet Tokyuko whatever Endo
I know.
blah blah blah.
I was joking.
I'm just
I'm
like-
not saying I'm gonna pass this. I'm
All
just
right.
saying I needed something to fill a space.
I'm just saying I have watched 9 anime in a row that are not meant for my demographic, and I'm going to go insane. I'm going to go insane.
Caroline could be savage. There's times she likes these shows and she's like,
Gosh.
I'm not going to pass it, but it's good. I just don't think it's a good review. She could be passing them. You could be watching them. She's
will-
manning the front lines for you.
I will note that I picked my anime based on popularity, but I skipped every
We know.
rom-com and slice of life. Because I'm fucking done. I can't handle it. Okay. All right, the next one is
We know.
Arc Knights, Fuyukomori, Kairi Michi, The Parish in Frost, done by studio Yostar Pictures, of which did Azure Lane, and then Yuki Watanabe is the director who did a lot of other Arc Knights content. In the land of Terra, natural disasters of unknown causes have been occurring irregularly in many areas. Therefore, the majority of the people, in order to escape those natural disasters, came to live in mobile cities developed over the years. The Originium, which is the shit they make you fucking buy in that game on the phone game because everything is, whatever. Left behind at each crash site has led to the rapid progress of civilization. Because of the bodies of those with origerinium gradually crystallize and become a new source of infection at the time of death, in many countries the infected are subject to the persecution of the... Whatever, who gives a fuck? So this is Arknights, basically the game in anime format. It's not the first Arknights content we've ever seen. There was another TV series that was like pretty short that came out, and it had an average reviews, I guess, but Arknights is back. I have played quite a bit of Arknights on the cell phone game, but those games always get boring before long because it's the same fucking shit over and over again. Here's what Pancake said.
Arknights. I don't know what's happening, but I'm going to watch it because I liked the phone game. Maybe we should start playing that again.
I will say it is a good phone game, but you can only do the same thing over and over again so many times before you don't want to do it anymore. Mason, you're up.
Next up is Kawagoe Boys Sing. This is a original work about the Kawagoe Schoolboys Choir Club and their instructor, a former orchestra conductor. They grow together through singing as they aim for the national contest. So this is a original music show, which I will pretty much always give any club show, sports show, music show, just working show, any show where people are coming together to try to do something the time of day. I just find them inherently compelling, whatever that goal is. I'm not much of a singer. I have no singing voice. I do not have the greatest air for it, but I'm interested to see how it pulls it together. This is split studios between EVG versus a capable but usually underwhelming telecom animation film. So I'm not really sure what we're going to get. I looked at the PV, and the good news is that they are at least singing in it. I'm sick of sports shows or music shows where they barely perform. So, hey, that's good. The music sounded fine for a little while, didn't blow me away, but hey, they're singing. That's what I signed up for. This show is not strong visually, with hyper choppy movement, some very surprising character designs. I'm looking at you, the guy who comes with full death metal face paint. Okay. And lip flaps that just straight up don't align with the singing, which normally I don't find too distracting, but if your performance is just singing, I need the lip flaps to be a little bit more on the point. So there's some slightly odd design choices going on here. I don't know why they have a full robot to be their metronome. I'm not sure what we're getting here. This seems to be leaning towards some interesting ideas, but in a bad way that will probably be distracting. I don't have high hopes, but we'll give it a shot. That's Kawagoe Boys Sing. No announcement yet on what streaming site it will be on. So we'll figure that out when we have to watch episode 1 in 2 weeks.
Please not high dive. Please not high dive.
Listen, it's probably not going to be passed anyway, so it's probably not your problem.
Villainous Caroline, you are up.
Okay, so my next pick is my number 7 on my list. Hikikomari Kyuketsuki no Manman, The Vexations of a Shut-In Vampire Princess. Okay, here's the synopsis. 3 years into her life as a shut-in, vampire Tekamari Gansblood, or Komari for short, awakens to find that she has been appointed as a commander in a Mole Knight Imperial Army. The thing is, her new unit consists solely of belligerent ruffians who revolt against vampires as powerful as they... sorry, I skipped a line. Who revolt against their superiors at the slightest hint of weakness. Although Komari hails from a line of vampires as powerful as they are prestigious, her refusal to drink blood has made her the picture of mediocrity, scrawny, uncoordinated, and inept at magic. With the odds stacked against her, with the help of her trusty and slightly infatuated maid, will that be enough for this recluse to blunder her way to success? Will Komari rue the day she ever left the safety of her room? This is based on a light novel done by Project Number 9, who also did Love After World Domination and The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. So it could be funny. I mean, the production value of it does not look fantastic. I saw a group of 300 guys in this unit that she leads, and they all had the same face. Every single one of them. So we will see what happens.
All right, next up is...
No comment.
You don't believe this title. Toaru Osan no VR MMO Katsudoki, or a playthrough of a certain dude's VR MMO life. I'm watching the trailer right now. I watched it the other day, and the takeaway from this trailer is that the characters in this look extremely kiddie and low detail. It reminds me of old school Pokemon level. Like, they look like Pokemon characters, and it's just not looking good. So, by Maho Film Studio, I am the Villainous, so I'm taming the final boss, and also The Land of Leodale, which we all loved. A new type of VR MMO called One More Free Life Online is out. He logs in as a young boy avatar called Earth, which is Jesus. Taichi Tanaka, who's 38 and single, as they said in the synopsis, has a regular office job and enjoys playing games, blah, 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 in his free time in the world where the player is free to do as they wish, decide to master skills, blah, blah, blah. Bizarre original weapons, hunt monsters. Trailer looks really bad. I mean, it's just, if you watch the trailer, it just looks like the characters are pretty much Pokemon level as far as looking like little kids and having low levels of detail, save for the cat girl, goddess, I assume, who has a wand, so she's probably a goddess, and they are going to, I don't know, fucking do whatever. And then there's a shot of the town, and it's just there's a ton of people in the town standing around the town square, but none of them are moving. So we know where this is going. Pancake said,
Oh, everything's so great. I'm in an isekai world. Oh, la la la.
There you go. She actually said a lot of other things that involved many F-bombs, and, well, we can't put that on Twitch. They can't handle it, so. Extremely low chance of passing. I don't fucking know. Mason, you're up.
Next up, my number 6 pick is Firefighter Daigo. And like I said, I love working shows. This follows 3 young firefighters who are training to become members of the Special Rescue Corps known as Orange. So they're trying to be firefighters. And I'm actually kind of amazed we're getting this. So this is kind of based on a Japanese manga series that was written in the 90s. And there was a anime film produced by Sunrise in 1999, which I watched to make sure you didn't need to watch it before watching the show. And I don't think you do. And I don't recommend that you do, because it was not very good. It was dated and stiff and not in the good way, neither sense of the word. And it stars this guy named Daigo, who's this 18-year-old firefighter who just is brash and brave and just tries to save people, but by not following the rules. He's not following your regulations like your normal firefighter guy.
Ooh.
And
because that's what you need.
Because that's really a good idea. That's what you want.
Oh, God.
it's not a great message. There is a guy named Daigo in this work, which is based on a sequel manga to the original manga from the 90s. So this thing has just been flickering in the background for decades, and we're finally getting an adaptation of what I think is the sequel manga. So there's a Daigo in this work. I don't think he's related to the Daigo from the original, from the movie. This one's by Brainspace. It's the same director as To Your Eternity and Baby Steps, so maybe something there. That said, this series seems to be more about training to be a firefighter than actually being a firefighter. I'm not sure how realistic it is. Some of the training seemed just very dramatic, and everything just seemed a little played up in the trailer, though, which is kind of how trailers tend to be. So I'm very just in open water on this one. I have no idea what we're going to get. Middling is my best guess. For some reason, it reminds me, maybe just because it's firefighting, of Burning Kabaddi or whatever that awful sports show was. Where I'm like, oh, this is an interesting sport. It could be an engaging thing, and it just wasn't in any way. That's my expectations. Hopefully, I'm proven wrong. And this is on Crunchyroll.
And 6 different people were like, "You just don't understand the sport. You don't get it." I'm like, I don't. Yeah, I don't get it.
The sport was fine. It was just the presentation
was it?
And boring of it. It was not good.
The sport. Okay. All right, Caroline, you're up.
Okay. So my number, my number 5 point, I can't talk. My number 5 choice, 6 on my list is Seijo no Marioko wa Beno Desu, 2nd season. This is The Saint's Magic Power is Omnipotent season 2. So Yeah, it's the second season of this anime that I watched a little while ago when the first season came out. I did not pass it. And it was an okay show. It had its good things that I liked about it, but it really fell apart, like, production-wise and kind of story-wise by the end of it. I put it on my list just to see where the second season goes. And so, yeah, it is based on a light novel. It's by Dio Medea, who did the first season, and also Magi Revo recently. So we'll see if it pulls a Shadow's House and gets even better with the second season, or just goes away in mediocrity.
All right, next up. What other kinds of magic can we extract from this list here? Ragna Crimson. Wow. Ragna Crimson. Let's have a look. It's like I'm wrapping a Christmas gift. In a world, let's start with the studio. Silver Link. We all love Silver Link. They did Bofuri. They did. That's not very good. Amazing. Just write them a letter. Tell them to just like wrap it up. Shut down operations. In a world where dragons rule the sky, sea, and land, those who would fight them and win must surpass the limits of normal human strength. No fucking shit. They're dragons. I have to surpass normal human strength to fight a dragon that's flying? Really? Are you kidding? What? I mean...
No way!
Yes, Yamcha. Even you probably can't take on a dragon because you're fucking trash. Just like this anime. Not sure. Anyway. Set on victory at any cost, dragon hunter Ragna, who looks exactly like Killua, joins forces with the mysterious Crimson. Crimson's motivations may be obscure, but their goal is the same, to destroy the dragon monarchs. Alright, watching this trailer again. I mean, God, he looks just like Killua. He's just not as cool. You can just tell he's not as cool. So the trailer has a lot of like fighting in it. It's got a lot of like anthropomorphic type, like half human, half beast people. It's got your heterochromia girl who looks like a dragon, so I'm guessing she's a dragon monarch. And a lot of like really pretty boys with dragon tails for the ladies. I don't know. Yeah, low chance. I gotta pass something, but this one's, I don't know. I'm already ready to fail it. What is going on? This is fall. Isn't fall
That
fall
says it's
season?
on High Dive. Did that play into your decision?
I don't review this shit. I'll probably just fail it, and I'll probably just, I don't know, pirate the shit out of this and fail it. I don't know. This is anyway, yeah, Ragna Crimson. So I don't know. It's a Silver Link anime where you have to have beyond human strength to fight a dragon. There you go. Mason, you're up.
Next up, my number 5 pick is called Shy. Takes place in the middle of the 21st century when a sudden widespread appearance of heroes, which is people with supernatural powers, have completely eliminated war across the planet. The heroes of each country work to maintain peace, and the one hero who's protecting Japan is a young girl named Shy, who is Shy. Who would have thought? Who would have thought someone named Shy has difficulty communicating with others? Anyway, this is done by Studio 8-Bit, who has done Blue Lock and Encouragement of Climb, when they're not pumping out lots of goop in the form of reincarnated as a slime. It's based on a manga, and it is on Crunchyroll, and it is directed by the interesting, is the adjective I want to use, Masaomi Ando, who seems to tap into some Madoka inspiration, just with a worse team. Watching the PV, the visuals just seem to be on the better side of fine. It just didn't really wow me. This seems to maybe be fun. It has some neat transformation sequences. It has a chance. People like the manga a bit, but I have my doubts. This really just seems to be like someone tapping into the My Hero Academia market. And if you want more of that, hey, give it a shot. Seems to be a lot of cute female heroes, if that's what you're into. But other than that, nothing really jumped out at me with this one. Hopefully we get some compelling characters, but once again, I have my doubts, but we'll see what Shy can do with it.
All right. Number 4 on my list, which is number 5 overall, Undead Unluck. So this is about a girl named Fuko Izumo who, after reading the conclusion of her favorite manga series, finally decides to end her existence. All right, this gets pretty dark. For the past 10 years, Fuko has been afflicted by a condition that brings extreme misfortune to anyone who touches her. This has had a drastic effect on her surroundings, even inadvertently resulting in the deaths of those around her, including her parents. So as she stands on the bridge above train tracks, Fuko is touched by a strange man, causing the footing underneath him to break and dropping him in front of an oncoming train. However, Fuko finds that this man's corpse... Fuko. She finds the corpse, she discovers that this body is regenerating, and he is coming back to life. The man, whom Fuko names Andy.
What?
She names him, of all names, Fuko names Andy, is immortal. And like her, he also wishes for death. Initially dismissive, Fuko eventually decides to team up with Andy to give him the best death possible. But a mysterious organization lurks in the shadows, hoping to take advantage of the duo's bizarre abilities. So, it seems like a little bit of a wild plot. It could be really bad. It could be all over the place. It sounds super angsty. But it could also be fun and good. I mean, as fun as two main characters wishing for death can be. It honestly sounds a lot like this anime that came out like a long time ago, or not a long time ago, but several years ago. It was like Angels of Death. It was based on a video game. It kind of sounds like that a little bit in terms of the duo's dynamics. It's based on a manga. It's being done by David Production, who did JoJo's, Fire Force, Cells at Work, etc. So it could work. I don't know, but I'm gonna give it a shot.
I really hope Andy is just written on the bottom of his shoe, and that's why she calls him that.
Andy. I want to hear it be said by a really buff man.
Oh, gotcha.
Watashi wa Andy.
Andy does.
Okay. Man, this is... Anybody else extremely underwhelmed so far? What the fuck is happening?
Listen, the top of my list, I'm feeling good about. Hey, it's better than last season.
I may as well just like skip all this bullshit and just pass the two anime I know I'm going to pass. I already know what they are. And it's not any of these. Your
number 4 pick is something I literally had at the bare bottom of my list, and I eliminated it.
All right, this next one is Shangri-La Frontier, which is already enough for me to fail it. It has the word Shangri-La on the title. I'm out. It's impossible for this to be good. Kusoge Hunter, Kamige ni Idoman Tosu. And pull up the trailer here. I do remember this one. So, man, this anime. This is the one with all the animal people. So, this anime is done by Studio C2C of Tsukimichi, Moonlit Fantasy, Wandering Witch, Handyman Saito, etc. Toshiyuki Kuboka of Handyman Saito is also the director. Second-year high school student. What the Rakuro? What the fuck kind of name is that? Rakuro. Okay. Rakuro. Okay. Is interested in only one thing. Listen, I lived in Japan. I can tell you right now that might not be a Japanese name at all. I don't know. Rakuro is interested in one thing only, finding, quote, shitty games and beating the crap out of them. His gaming skills are second to none, and no game is too bad for him to enjoy, which means this guy's definitely not getting laid. So when he's introduced to the new VR game, Shangri-La Frontier, he does what he does best. He min-maxes and skips the prologue and jumps straight into the action. I just don't know what to tell you. I don't. There we go. This is what I'm going to be doing. While I watch this.
Can I get a gag anime that's like Sword Art Online, but the anime or the video game they get trapped in is extremely poorly produced. So they're constantly fighting against a terrible game. That's to be honest with you, like, it sounds like this is
maybe I'm picking the wrong anime, but we have picked like 70% of the list that's eligible. So I mean, this is the whole boat, people. But can even an expert like Rakuro discover all the secrets that Shangri-La Frontier hides? So the trailer...
If it's really that bad of a game, who the heck cares what secrets it has?
I don't know. There's a lot of people listening that probably play these types of games, so I don't want to talk too much shit and be too aggressive here, but it just looks like a normal VR game like every other one. It's got a lot of like characters that look like half animals, little girls wearing top hats. You know, there's like dude. I assume
Not the top hat.
the main character, his head looks like a fucking bird, and his body is like a man, but he's got big aggressive nipples. Here's the bunny with the top hat, yeah, who just like screaming, and then like the mob boss is a bunny, and he's very intense, and you know whatever.
He looks like Goo Goo, but with a bird head.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can say about this is that at least it looks like it has a lot of action in it because there's a lot of action in this trailer. But I'm also just, I don't know. Shangri-La. There's another anime with the title. This is like the Nobunaga effect. As soon as it had Shangri-La on the title, you guys were fucking doomed. Yeah. So here's, what the fuck clip am I on? Is this the fourth one? This is what Pancake said. No, it's the fifth one.
I don't know. I'm not into Birdhead Nipple McGee here at all.
There you go. It's that Birdhead Nipple McGee. She's right. He's got like a bird head with huge aggressive nipples. So, next.
I believe you. Next up is my third of 4 shows that has an English title.
Wow.
This one is a sports show with a main character named Haruka who wants to compete alone. He has a dour face and black hair swept across his head. He's a star racer
No.
and deep blue eyes. But it's not free, everyone. It's an anime called Overtake, a original work about a scrappy family-run Formula 4 racing team.
Thank
So
God.
Formula 4 is a junior level division of Formula Racing. You've probably heard of Formula 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what we're on. And this is done by Troika, a studio I haven't heard of for a while, probably because I don't follow their Idolish 7 and Lord L. Malloy series at all. So this is also on Crunchyroll. And personally, I'm not a huge fan of Formula Racing. I get the appeal. I love the locations it's at. But this one, I don't know. It looks all right visually. The racing looks a little stiff because of the CG cars, but at least the character models seem to be animated with some life, with some panache. And it seems like we're going to get some engaging mental components of not just racing, but the different roles within a team. The PV seem to indicate you're going to have a star racer on a team, but also kind of the assistant second driver who has to acknowledge the fact that he's not there to win, but act as a support, and that will eat them up inside. And that's engaging and interesting. And this is directed by the talented but sometimes misaimed Aoki, who means I don't think this will be great, but I'm expecting at least something solid. It's one of 2 racing shows this season, and it's definitely not my standout, but hey, I'm down for some Formula 4 action. Hopefully it does good and it's fun. I want to see something cool.
I mean, I support this completely because this is not an overdone idea, but nobody will watch this and then they'll be like, well, back to the VR MMO games and the fucking rom-coms. That's exactly what's going to happen. Nobody will watch this.
Yeah, you just need to make it a VR racing game and then the loser dies. And there you go. Boom. That's how you do it. You make it a death game racing show.
Yeah.
Or you have, yeah.
Unless you're first, you're dead, and they just shoot you. Basically, yeah. That's what happens. But yeah, nobody will watch this, and then they'd be like, "Well, we tried an out of the box idea. And now we're going back in the box for the next 10 years, just like the groundhog every year."
I mean, Mitz and I have talked about this
Fuck
before.
my life.
Inherently, just playing sports offers enough interest to us. Like, just have a compelling story of them playing and training and competing and just put good characters in it, and I'm down. Like, it's not hard to make a solid sports show. So it's ripe for something good. So I hope it delivers at least something of quality.
I really think they're banking on the fact that anime fans just aren't long-term fans, and they're like, oh my god, a VR MMO show, that sounds so cool. And then it's like, and then I'm like, yeah, I've watched like 33 of these. You know, that's got to be it. I mean, because people are coming and going pretty quick. But
what
anyway.
what medium doesn't like sit back and like no medium in the world like innovates every season? So like it's what's to be expected in that sense, but it is still nonetheless disappointing.
I mean, you're not wrong, and I said as much earlier, but I just think the anime over borrows from other similar shows. Like, come on, we can't even have a character in one of these isekais that doesn't even have fucking black hair. I mean, it's just like, dude,
What are you talking, Mitch? We got an Andy this season. Anime is changing its
We got
landscape.
Falcon Boy.
It's a new chapter,
We got
boys.
a
Get on the
bird,
ride.
Mitsugi.
I've seen Uma Musume from. I've seen almost everything. I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
I think we also have a guy that was reincarnated as a pig this season.
Yeah, the Buta show.
I can't. Oh, yeah.
How did we not get that on our
Yeah,
list?
Caroline, you're up. We got to
Okay.
hurry up and get to the goblin rape. It's very important.
Awesome. Okay. Number 3 on my list, number 4 overall, Kamo no Hashi Ran no Kidan Suiri, or Ran Kamo no Hashi's Forbidden Deductions. This is the latest in my pursuit of finding a good crime show. So, this is what it's about. Despite lacking the skills suited for his role on the Metropolitan Police Department investigation team, Totomaru Ishiki wants to solve murders and help people, so he's completely inept, but he still wants to do it. Fantastic. Following the advice of one of his seniors, he ventures out to enlist the aid of the reclusive Ran Kamanohashi. I hate this name. Kamanohashi. 5 years ago, Ran was the most promising detective from the illustrious Detective Training Academy Blue. Yet, for reasons unknown to the public, he sank into obscurity. Totomaru expects a well-dressed, composed man, but he finds a messy-haired and uninhibited eccentric. Think L from Death Note. After years in solitude, Ron barely resembles his former self and he refuses to hear out the detective. However, as quickly as Ron rebuffs, he flips on a dime and dives headfirst into the current serial murder case. The true reason Ron withdrew from the detective world was not from the lack of desire, but rather from something out of his control, and Totomaru might just be the key for him returning to his former calling. Together, the wide-eyed officer and deranged detective tackle each mystery that comes their way. This is based on a manga done by Dio Medea, which I mentioned earlier. The premise does not sound extremely promising and new and exciting, but you know, give it a shot. We'll see. We'll see if this becomes the true crime show I'm looking for. Or not true crime, just crime in general, because it's not true, because it's anime.
Neat.
Yeah, so I couldn't help but notice that all of the complaining we've done about anime over the years has accomplished absolutely nothing, as the top two shows of this season are both Goblin Slayer and Shield Hero. It's like,
Heroes out this season?
This season, the top two most popular shows are Goblin Slayer and Shield Hero Season 3. But,
Well, that's just because you're going by most members, right?
Yep.
And Shield Hero has had its season 3 announced for like a decade, so it's had years to build up a fan base that people have joined in. So I don't know. It's definitely not going to be the best show this season.
I mean, it might not be. I know it won't be because Season 2 was bad. I'm just saying that, like, let's take a look at Shield Hero Season 2. Fuck it. We're already over time anyway. Shield Hero Season 2 came out in spring 2022. That was the third most watched show of that season. So it could be that Spy Family season. What's that?
If it's a sequel, then yes, it's going to have the members to make it popular. If it's not a sequel, it's not going to have as much hype around it.
Yeah, Season 2 was bad. So, yeah, I'm just making a point that, like, all the anger people have over these anime is definitely not stopping people from watching these things. Anyway, my next pick is Goblin Slayer Season 2 because it when all else fails, I can at least enjoy watching someone cut goblins in half. That's like the default, like, bare minimum here. Linden Films of Tokyo Revengers and Insomniacs After School, directed by Takuharu Ozaki of Goblin Slayer Season 1. They didn't even give a synopsis for Season 2, but basically, goblins are known for being a bunch of assholes and doing a bunch of shit. A party that includes a 15-year-old priestess goes into a cave because they're really stupid. are immediately overwhelmed by the goblins in the cave until the Goblin Slayer shows up and just starts fucking shit up. That's the whole plot. Pretty much. It's not the same studio as the first season, which was White Fox. This is going to be extremely violent. The trailer is very violent. If you skip to the last half of the trailer, it's just shots of him just slicing people in half and just blood exploding out of them. And as I recall from Shield Hero Season 1, the whole party almost got wiped. I was having breakfast in a diner eating like corned beef hash and having coffee and watching this like giant goblin just like almost wipe their whole party at the end of that first season. And this will probably not be that good either, but at least it's not a VR MMO. Although it could be. They could easily just put in a VR MMO game and then it would be basically in a VR MMO. But this one is not. It's Goblin Slayer Season 2, so most people will probably watch this. Mason, you're up.
Yeah, I want to go on a quick tangent when we talk about like popularity, because you mentioned Shield Hero Season 2 as being the third most popular show of the spring 2022 season it came out of, because it has pretty much 700,000 members signed up to watch it.
Yep.
Which is the third most. But if you actually look how many people completed that show, it's less than shows like Comey, and it's about the same as shows like Summertime Render, which have only like 400,000 people signed up for it. So it just proves that so many people watched Season 1 of that show, super hyped, signed up for Season 2, and dropped it. So numbers are tricky. I just want to clarify that. But yeah, they're still making them. They're still making money. Your point still stands. I just want to point out that people will like drop the show when they're done with it. So
I'm surprised. What I'm surprised about is that Shield Hero Season 1 was mediocre. Shield Hero Season 2 was bad. And yet here we are, not learning our lessons with Shield Hero Season 3.
Well, they actually, I think they announced 2 and 3 at the same time. So it wasn't like they made 2, it was bad, and they're like, well, let's do another one. Like, they always planned on doing it. It doesn't matter.
Promotional art for Season 3 looks pretty cool, though.
Yeah, and so does the promotional art for hentai. But Mason and I both know how that goes.
My man.
I don't
Promo
know
art.
if cool would be the word for that.
I have seen hentai promo art that looks like Picasso made it. It's so like fucking fantastic. And then when you get to watch it, it looks like a bunch of like fourth graders with crayons drew a bunch of nipples. Basically what the fucking shit.
That reminds me, when I was talking about the firefighter show, chat was like, oh my goodness, they're making a firefighter show that isn't hentai? Who thought it was possible? Not me. What I do want to talk about right now is unadulterated Kino. Absolute quality anime that I am excited for, and you should too. I cannot believe this show is happening. We are finally doing it. This show is Pluto. And what happened to make this happen is one of the greatest mangaka of our day decided to build off of one of the most important manga of the greatest mangaka of the past. And now, 2 decades later, Masao Maruyama and his team are finally adapting Pluto, which is Urasawa's reinterpretation on Tezuka's famed Astro Boy story. Now, you don't need to know Astro Boy to get into this. It helps, but you can go in not knowing your Urans from your Cobalts, your Atoms from your Astros. Just come into Pluto, which is on Netflix, and watch it. And it'll be good. I'm guaranteeing that right now. Pluto follows this detective who's attempting to solve the string of a case of deaths of robots and humans alike around the world. And what is interesting about it is that robots should not be capable of killing humans or robots. It's something they have been programmed not to do. But there's no evidence that suggests that it was a human. So it's a murder mystery of a whole... Oh my goodness, it'll be good. I'm so excited for it. Toshi Kawaguchi, a key animator for some legendary Ghibli works, is getting his first directing bid with a studio in M2 that hasn't done much. It's kind of a newer studio, but it'll be good. It should be good. It's laughable. Just watch the trailer, and it's almost comedic how above it is from everyone else this season. I'm expecting big things. Hopefully I'm not getting my hopes too high. Hopefully I'm not getting your hopes too high, but definitely check out Pluto if you get a chance. We are very excited for it over here. Please be good.
I mean, it's gonna be
Alright.
good, but the sad reality is that it'll probably get less viewership than something like Girlfriend. So
I mean,
Mitsuki, I know that you feel strongly about this, but you keep on complaining that we're running overtime, and you keep complaining about the
Well,
same thing.
it's already too late. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, number 2 on my list, third overall. I'm actually pretty excited for this one. Is Kusuriya no Hitori Goto, The Apothecary Diaries. Now, this is set in imperial court in ancient China. It has been a few months since a 17-year-old girl known as Mao Mao was kidnapped and forced to work as a low-level servant at the emperor's palace. Still, she manages to retain her curious and pragmatic spirit, planning to work until her years of servitude are over. One day, however, she catches wind of the fact that the emperor's 2 infants have fallen gravely ill. She decides to secretly take action, drawing on her experience as a pharmacist raised in the poor red light district. Despite Mao Mao's attempts to remain anonymous, she soon catches the eye of Jinshi, an influential eunuch who recognizes her talents. Mao Mao soon finds herself in the emperor's inner court, where she gradually makes a name for herself by utilizing her knowledge and eccentric personality to solve various medical mysteries. So this is based on a light novel. It's being done by OLM and Toho Animation Studio, which is somehow different from Toho Animation because they only have 2 things on their list. But OLM you might have known to have taken care of Odd Taxi, Summertime Render, and Komi Can't Communicate. It looks really good, just visually. I do love my period pieces, and this is set in ancient China, so it might scratch the itch that The Raven of the Inner Palace left me. So I'm hoping that'll be pretty good.
yeah, I had this high on my list as well. I think it'll be pretty choice. I'm excited.
Is it time for my number 1 pick?
It is.
All right. It's MF Ghost. I've been waiting for a year. It's finally out. MF Ghost is basically the sequel to Initial D. It's done by Felix Film, who did a bunch of garbage. Naka Tomohito, who directed some of the Initial D movies. It's about a guy named Kanata Livington, who's a 19-year-old Japanese-British racer who comes to Japan after graduating from a racing school in the United Kingdom to take part in MFG, which is a racing circuit, and ends up being trained by the legendary downhill racer Takumi Fujiwara from Initial D. It just looks awesome. It looks a lot like Initial D. Same style of art, same character, same manga creator, same art style. You know, it just looks like Initial D that's a little higher tech. They've got like drones following the racers, maps of the fucking driving, and apparently this is set in like a near future where everything is, electric cars, and everyone's like poo-poo about it. And basically, so yeah, I'm MF Ghost, and if this anime is good, I'm probably gonna go buy the Toyota GR86 because my Kia is pretty old, and that Toyota GR86 looks pretty fucking sharp for a good price tag. Oh, and Deja Vu! All right,
So excited
Deja
for
Vu.
the
I just watched it
soundtrack.
actually. There's a flashing in my eyes. There you go.
My turn.
It's your turn.
You might be thinking, Mason, you were all excited about Pluto.
What could be
What
better?
could possibly better? What could possibly take your number 1 pick of the season? Well, my friends, it is Freyrin, Beyond Journey's End. It's on Crunchyroll as well. I'm getting all the Crunchyroll shows. It's based on a fantastic manga that I'm a big fan of, and it's done by Studio Madhouse, which is clinging to relevancy by its fingernails by releasing a bunch of cruddy shows and then one phenomenal show each year. And if I had to put all my eggs in one basket, I would put it in this one and expect that this is that phenomenal show. So the synopsis is pretty much reads as, it's over. Story's over. The big baddie is gone. The story begins with the mage Freyrin and her fellow adventurers returning home victorious. They've defeated the Demon King, and there's peace. And everyone's like, yay, we did it. we bypassed the boring 900 episode arc, and we've emerged victorious. And that's how it begins. But the elf, Frieren, is going to outlive the rest of her party. And don't think much of that until decades later, which is like the next chapter, a funeral of one of her fellow adventurers makes Frieren confront her own like sense of immortality compared to everyone else around her, and what it means to live on through the ages when everyone you know is kind of going away. So the next adventure begins with her kind of fulfilling the last wish of one of her comrades and has to kind of find her new meaning of life. And it's touching, it's emotional, it's action-packed, it's dramatic, and I will probably not even watch an episode before making a decision on this. That's because the first episode is going to be 2 hours long, and
What?
I think by that time I'll know if this is going to be good or not.
Oh my god. How
Yeah,
do you know how
those
many
long
episodes
ones.
overall?
So Mitsugi, if I pass the show, I don't want to hear on Thursday before you're like, oh, I just started it up. No one said it was a 2-hour episode one. It's 2 hours.
Mason's
for
just
episode
passing this
1.
because the main girl's got elf ears. Isn't
I don't
that
even
right?
like elf ears.
Uh-huh.
That's not even my thing. You can go to the Discord. We have the tapes to prove it. This is directed by Keiichiro Saito, who did Bocchi the Rock, and has been an episode director on a ton of key animator for a ton of really visually standout shows. I'm expecting more excellence on what should be the start of another promising career. The music front should be well served by Millet, Yoasobi, and Evan Call. Am I saying this is a masterpiece? Not
Yes,
yet.
You pretty much
But
did.
a boy can dream. So, Frieren
It sounds
Beyond
like it's going
Journey's
to be.
End. I'm expecting it to be solid at least. At worst, on the same tier as To Your Eternity. So, hey, let's here's the hoping.
All right, last pick.
Okay, my number one pick, which honestly I kind of wasted because I could have battled it out with Mason for So No Frieren, but
Yeah.
here I go. Number one on my list is a show that all of my co-hosts did not even watch last season, the first season of this sequel season, Kage no Jitsu Rokushani Narika. I'm maybe gonna try.
You're in it.
It is 8 Minutes in Shadow, season 2. Yeah, I really wasted my first pick, especially with a good roll that I got. But oh well. Here's actually, I'm not gonna give the synopsis for season 2 because if you watch season 1, it's kind of just the continuation of that story. Main character Sid, who's the biggest angsty reincarnation into a fantasy world there's ever been, but it's basically a gag anime, and he is angsty AF, but it's really funny, and I did not pass it when I reviewed the first season, but I did enjoy it, I finished it, and I'm excited for season 2. So it's based on a light novel, being done by Nexus, who did the first season, as well as Darwin's Game. So we shall see if I will pass season 2, that I did not pass the first season.
We did it.
That's
Yep. I just want to say that if that passes, I will not watch season 1. Just so you guys know. But you can. I would. Not
I was thinking nothing less.
Yeah, I mean, I'm. It's a fucking miracle I'm even here. So this is not happening. But yeah, but I encourage you to pass it if you like it. So, also, I never played the drop for the Goblin Slayer from Pancake, and my soundboard is muted, so you didn't hear that.
Dude, are people still talking about this anime? This came out in like 2019 or something. Yes, goblins rape people, we know. There is an elf girl though, so there's fat material, so people will watch it regardless.
There you go. And then for our initial D.
Oh, I just got cold chills from the the Eurobeat. I don't even like Eurobeat, but man, I'm jazzed.
There you go. All right. Well, guys, yeah, that's it. So we got, it's pretty, there's a lot of good shows at the top of the season that we didn't pick. I mean, you got stuff like Spy Family Season 2, Dr. Stone Season 2, Tokyo Revengers Season 3. So there's a lot of stuff. Girlfriend. I mean, some of these shows might come back. Something like Girlfriend could get listener picked. Probably will. But, you know, we just chose to avoid those. So what are you going to do? But I assume we'll probably end up watching, well, None of those except girlfriend are even eligible, so you can probably just pencil that in right now. That's gonna get fucking picked. Oh, because it's got titties. So there you go. We have an intro trivia question.
About that.
Would you like to read it, Caroline?
You do indeed. I shall. In the anime My Happy Marriage, what gift does Mio make for Kyoka? And we'll give you the answer after the news break.
Hey, Anime Addicts, this is Mitsugi, and it's time for your anime news break. Getting us started off with a light novel, Monster, getting a TV anime, another anime title with a colon in the title, beginning with Re. Very interesting. Genko opened on their official website. They announced that this was going to be happening. Takuya Sato of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is starring as Goburo. Studio Dean is going to be producing the anime. Kanekiru began writing this fantasy action story on the Shosetsuka ni Naruto website in May of 2011. It's got about 1.5 million copies in print, which is pretty good. So we'll have to look forward to the anime adaptation. And for those of you that like manga, there is a serialized manga adaptation. The 10th volume went on sale on September 20th. Next up, another anime, Jido Hanbaiki ni Umare Kawata Ore wa, goddamn long title. Reborn as a vending machine, now I wander the dungeon. Man, I should have just read that. The TV anime is getting a second season. It was announced. This is produced by Studio Gokumi and Axis. The first season aired in the summer of 2023, and we will be reviewing it in next week, most likely, or 2 weeks from now. So this anime adapts to Hirukuma's comedy fantasy light novel, which began also on the Shosetsuka ni Naruto website in March 2016. So if you're a fan of this property, it will continue. The man with a passion for vending machines will keep on his adventure. Next up, for those of you that love Bungo Stray Dogs, Bungo Stray Dogs Season 5 did end, but ended with a to be continued. So technically, this is maybe not the end of the anime, so there could be a Season 6 coming. The staff have not officially announced the next season, but it sure was teased. The anime premiered on July 12th on Crunchyroll, streamed the season, and obviously this anime has been running for quite a long time. So if you are a fan of Bungo Stray Dogs, well, it's just going to keep on going. So good for you, and hope you keep enjoying. Next up, as is probably getting a little bit old, Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead in Episode 9 delayed again on some streaming services. So this just keeps happening to this anime. The anime's 9th episode will be delayed one day from Sunday to Monday on some streaming services. The 9th episode will come out, will still air on its regular time in Japan, but it's just on the streaming services where it seems to be delayed. As the production delays has affected the schedule, the staff will reveal the broadcast dates for the remaining episodes, 10 through 12, and hopefully these won't be delayed too much more. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break, and now time to get back to the podcast.
We know the truth.
It's written all over your face.
You're addicted to anime.
But it's more than that, isn't it?
Are you also addicted to the AAA podcast?
Get all the content. Early episodes, after parties, hobby addicts, hentai episodes, show notes, ringtones, and more by joining our $7 support tier.
Go to aapodcast.com/join and select the $7 tier to get access to everything.
This means you'll get an extra 8 episodes of podcast goodness delivered right to your ears every month. That's less than $1 per episode.
And that's on top of all the other bonuses like ringtones and show notes.
So head to aapodcast.com/join and select the $7 tier. Set up your membership and you're good to go. Welcome back to the podcast. When we left you, we had a trivia question for you. In the anime My Happy Marriage, what is the gift that Mio makes Kyoka? And the answer is a hair tie. Very exciting. We are going to be skipping mailbags today because we don't have time. And we're going to jump right into the review of My Happy Marriage, which all four of us, including Pancake, who is now here.
What the fuck up, guys? I'm here to fuck up the show.
What a surprise. Oh, it was long fucked up. We don't need your help on this
Hell
one. But
yes.
we are glad to have you regardless.
Let's drive the bus off the cliff.
So that's what the people always wanted. Yes, this is a review of... Is this our first summer review? Or second?
Yes, first, I think.
Of My Happy Marriage, a.k.a... what is it? Watashi no Shiawase? Na Kekkon? Something like that.
Something.
This is a show I passed in episode 687. It's on Netflix. It is done by Kinema Citrus, known for doing Made in Abyss and Rising of Shield Hero, directed by Takehiro Kubota, who this is their first directing gig. And the synopsis reads... Mio is born into a noble family, but unfortunately lost her birth mother, and the subsequent stepmother and stepsister that comes into the family just straight up abuse and torment her and make her life miserable, and she's just kind of treated as disposable by the family as a whole. She's eventually married off to a man named Kyoka, who's supposed to be this hard-as-nails soldier who has a reputation for being cruel and heartless, and all his former fiancés have fled in horror of his ruthlessness. So Mio is just heartbroken and just set down and just feeling bummed and resigned to be thrown away once again, and begrudgingly goes to Kyoka to begin their happy marriage, and then the story begins. So that's pretty much the synopsis. Initial expectations going in. I want to get it out in front of this one here. If you go back and listen to my pick when I passed the show, you will hear me say things such as it stands, I would absolutely not pass the show, and it is not a good show, but it might be. And I was very much on the fence with passing this and saw a bunch of flaws with it, but, it was getting a lot of hype, it had potential, and it was honestly just a weak season, which is why I went on to pass it. We'll see if that was a good idea or not. But since Pancake is here, we will let her go first with her expectations going into this show.
Well, I had no expectations per usual because my dear husband Mitsugi fucking bitched about the first episode for like a whole morning while he was getting ready for work. So I was like, that's going to be dog shit. And then he texted and was like, you should probably watch this. You might like it. So that was my expectations going in.
Okay. Mitsugi, you
might
thought it was
like
dog
it,
shit?
dog shit.
What else do you think your wife might like?
I mean, basically, so after being tortured for like 5 straight weeks with rom-coms, somebody was like, I think it was maybe Caroline, I can't remember. Somebody was like, well, Mitz, you have the My Happy Marriage coming up, which is when you're finally going to get your mature relationship that you've always wanted. So I was like, oh,
I don't think I said it like that.
Well, someone said it. I don't know. I don't even know if it was you,
was.
but basically, I expected a mature relationship that maybe started with the wedding, and then we get to see like married life for once in anime. It's as if like I guess marriage just doesn't exist in Japan. I don't fucking know, but it doesn't exist. Well, we'll get to it. F's in the chat already. F's in the chat.
How about you, Caroline? What were your expectations?
F's in the chat is just like RIP, basically like RIP, RIP. There you go.
Oh, okay. I'm not
Okay, so-
hip and cool. Sorry.
You're not hip. That's not hip. People have been doing that for like a decade. So
I live under a rock.
no, you live under a
Okay,
roof with
so
me,
I
which is
thought
worse.
Okay, so I thought that this premise sounded like a watered-down version of Cinderella or something like that. I was not expecting greatness from this show whatsoever, but a lot of people were singing its praises, so I was thinking, maybe I was wrong about this. So, that was my expectation.
There we go. And let's go in reverse order. Spoiler-free recommendation. Caroline, would you recommend My Happy Marriage?
Not really.
What was that?
Because, okay, there are some good things about it. I thought the music and the art style beautiful. Like I want to listen to the soundtrack. I thought the soundtrack was great.
When
and
you
the
could
art style,
hear it.
I saw Mason's face.
It was so quiet.
Whatever. Maybe sometimes, but overall, I overall liked the presentation of this anime. I did binge quite a bit of it, so I mean, it was fairly entertaining to me, and I saw some potential here and there, but the writing is really bad. So many boneheaded and nonsensical decisions were made by these characters, which I will detail in spoilers. I have so much written about that. But overall, the characters were one-dimensional, and a lot of the story is paint by numbers shoujo, down to the obligatory kidnapping scenes done twice. And I really liked the first half more than the second half. But even so, I was put off by the introduction of fantasy elements and magic in the second episode, because that was not at all present in the first episode. I thought I was getting realism based on that, but turns out I wasn't, so that was kind of like a letdown. I feel like there are better Cinderella stories and romances out there, and this one just did not hit the quality mark I needed.
And
it's not terrible. It's not terrible, but it's not good.
And before moving on to Mitts, I'll ask the second question, which is, thank you, Captain Avatar, for reminding me. This is announced for a second season. Would you watch a second season of this?
I wouldn't, go kicking and screaming, but I wouldn't put it on the top of my to-do list.
Gotcha. Thank you. Mitsugi, would you recommend this show?
Inspiring, I know.
Sort of. I actually thought the first half of this anime was pretty good, and it was at episode 6, which everybody knows what happened in episode 6. When I was like, "Wow, this is starting to get good." Pancake, maybe you should watch this. But unfortunately, the second half of this anime is just honestly just bad. I don't know. It just tanked hard, and I will say I do appreciate a serious story. So I do appreciate all of the emotional turmoil, the abuse. It's weird to say I appreciate it, but it's nice to have actual content that happens to real people in real life once in a while in anime, rather than just having the same bullshit. And this anime had that in there, honestly, and I appreciated that. I don't know how I feel about all the supernatural bullshit that's in this anime. It just seems like they thought, oh, this story is way too dry and just too not anime enough. So let's give everybody a fucking power and, and all this. And I'm just going down my bullet points here. Kyoka, he might have daddy energy, but he's never home. So eventually Mio's just going to fuck the mailman just like Chi-Chi did, because he's never fucking home. So that shit's never going anywhere. And Mio really started to get annoying around episode 8 and 9. She is just the most perfect, puke-worthy Mary Sue of all time. I just hate her. I want her. What did I say, Pancake? I was like, she needs a heroin addiction. That's what I said. She's just so fucking perfect that it's like.
Why would you say that?
Because she's like, oh my Lord Kyoka, I just want to be a perfect lady. Let me wear my shitty little blue dress that's so fucking ugly and horrific, and I'm just gonna be so perfect and talk like this because I'm so quiet and so. Yeah, I just wanted her to go shoot up in the bathroom or something, because honestly, it was just too much. So the first half of this was fine, but the second half, we'll get to the spoilers, but yeah, I mean, nothing that I wanted this anime to have in it occurred. I don't hate it.
Would you watch season 2?
Reluctantly. I assume it'll happen. Either Caroline or one of the fans will pass it, because that's how all the rom-coms end up in the queue, except Mason.
Excuse me.
Except
what did
Mason.
I just say?
Except Mason, who passed this one. So, yes.
I told you it wasn't going to be good.
I swear, I'm about to take listener choice away, because it's 6 out of the last 8 have been fucking slice of life. I cannot handle it. I'm being dead fucking serious. I'm at the breaking point.
Curmudgeonly today.
I'm at the breaking point, people. All right, who's next?
You need to be a little bit more friendly.
I am the most friendly.
Your spice level is too high right now.
This coming from Pancake, who uses the F word in every sentence.
Listen, just because
That's
my
what the
vernacular
F word
is
stands for,
vulgar,
friendly.
Vernacular.
just because
God,
my
good
vernacular
word.
is vulgar doesn't mean that I'm unintelligent and or spicy all the time. I just like to say the word fuck. So let's get that straight for one. Okay. So
okay.
shut up. So so I actually would recommend this to people because I think our panel here watches a lot of anime, right?
Yep.
So you guys are kind of fucking tired of watching anime. I think the
That's our
average
first mistake.
exactly.
Once we started watching anime, we became the worst anime fans.
You guys watch a ton, and I think you guys can get jaded sometimes. I think for the average viewer that's only watching 1 or 2 anime a season, this would be something that people would be like, oh, this is pretty good. If you turn your brain off and you watch it.
Thank you for adding that.
Because the first couple episodes, I was like, oh, this is going to be like some watered down Game of Thrones shit, and we're going to have hierarchies and backstabbing and stuff. And then it turned into La La Land shoujo bullshit more and more, and the writing got progressively worse. So that is my spoil-free recommendation. I will be watching the second season just because I'm already so far into it.
And I will be sleeping.
Okay. That's
Mitzi,
their
why
happy
you
marriage. That we did it, everyone.
What's this about the blue
happy
outfit?
marriage
Why
was
do you
the
why do you
wives we
hate
made
her
along
blue
the way.
outfit?
Okay, all right. Let it blue out. You know what? I don't even have to say anything. Pancake.
Wait, what did you
The
say?
blue outfit.
Oh, that she looked like a possessed doll that got blown up to human size, and I just wanted to punch her because I'm like, that color looks like ass on you. Your hair looks like
Her
ass.
hair looked like ass is what it did.
You
Was
look
this
like
the Western blue dress
Yes.
that you're talking about? I did. What's so bad about? I don't see.
She looked like
don't think it
Little
was that
House
bad.
on the
It's just a
motherfucking
Bring up
prairie,
the
but
visuals,
even
Mitz.
worse.
Bring up the visuals.
It's the time.
She looked like a 5-year-old going to church with her grandma, and her grandma's like, this color, this outfit does not look good on you, but we're going, and everybody's gonna say you look cute, even though everybody you pass is going,
I thought she looked cute.
I didn't.
she looked
I was
awful.
soft. I was soft as cotton when she was wearing that blue every time.
I can't believe you guys are arguing about their dresses. Did you
It's
guys
not
see the
meant to be a
headbands?
It's a
sexy
shoujo.
dress.
Did you see the headbands that every character was wearing?
oh, you mean they're super secret spy headbands to control things?
Every character had what looked like a
what
headband underneath their hair, which was just a lighting effect. But the lighting effect, characters were standing in the
Oh
same
my god,
room
yeah.
with different lighting effects on their hair, even if they were the same hair color.
Yeah,
So-
Yeah,
the
the
hair
sheen on their
color
hair.
shine
I
was not
hated the
good.
sheen on the hair.
How about this? How about
Okay, so on our main
Go
character,
ahead.
I thought it looked okay. But sorry, on our main character, I thought it looked okay. But when you have Kyoka and his sister, and they have like she has like blonde hair, she has pink as a highlight in her. It just looks so dumb.
Because she's
But
so
he has like
ladylike.
light hair as well, and he has a blue highlight, and it doesn't match at all. Anyway, even worse design. We're talking about outfits tangents.
I found it.
Is the supernatural military force.
Oh my
A
god,
group-
it's so great. I got
This
it.
military force is a group that wields fire to attack enemies. They go out in the rain and are wearing these super baggy hooded poncho robe things. Think about it. If you're playing with fire, do you want to have the loosest clothing around your arms that are emitting fire? Like, that's just bad design choice. Like, that's... Anyway, my opinion on this show, I was just hoping for a budget, day-old bread anime version of Cinderella mixed with Violet Evergarden. And the show we got is technically edible, but I did not agree with it, and neither did my stomach. This show was rife with the most shallow of antagonists, uncompelling dialogue, trite emotional beats, and a commitment to just really weak visuals. I don't understand people who think this show looks good. It does not. It moves awfully. My Happy Marriage really lowered the bar on quality, squandering some otherwise decent messages and some solid music. I mean, Caroline was right. Evan Cole did do a good job. It just was really poorly produced. The show, like, you know, Pancake says, is fine at face value, but when you like put any consideration into it, it fails. People who enjoy the show, I feel like have been tricked. Because I think they like the idea of the show and concept more than what actually was delivered. It's full of unearned pathos. It's just so reliant on tropes that we've seen plowed and harvested many times over. This show is sparse of anything of value. I was not entertained. I did not enjoy my time. I would not recommend, and I will not watch season 2. Cue Mason a year from now having to watch season 2. This show is not good, but hits just the right notes, just when it needs to stay afloat and be at best fine. And let's spoil this show.
Spoilers
spoil it
are
rotten.
coming. Oh my god.
Oof.
Where do we start?
Where do we want to begin?
I know where to begin.
Lay it on us.
Did you already give your Game of Thrones spiel?
Yeah, it started out and it was like, oh, it's going to be like hierarchies and the emperor's above everybody and he's like pulling the strings.
And here come the White Walkers with the grotesqueries. Oh my god.
But that falls apart because they don't follow through on that very well. They're just like, we're going to do my fiance gets kidnapped every arc and I got to save her, but then she saves herself. And then I do want to say she is the most white piece of bread I've ever seen as a character.
I think my favorite scene with her is one of the first interactions with Kyoka, when he comes in and she like prepares breakfast for him, and he is very skeptical of her as a person and just plays it up through being just paranoid of people out to get him. And he asks her, eat this food you prepared to prove you didn't poison it. And she says, huh? And then he says, what, you can't eat it to prove you didn't poison it? And she says, I know. And then he asks her point blank, did you poison this food? And know what she responds with? She could respond with anything to indicate that she did not poison the food. And I get it. She's flustered. She's nervous. She's overwhelmed. She's been traumatized. I get that she just is holding it in. And when he asks her, did you poison it? She says nothing. And so this person has asked 3 or 4 times, did you poison this food?
I need a
to which
cricket
she has not
drop.
responded. He says, I can't eat this because I don't know what's inside. And then she stares straight into the camera like a doofus and just is stunned. And I get it. You know, I feel for her. I'm not ripping on her, the person. I'm ripping on this show, trying to make this, like, Kyoko's supposed to be this hard-edged, unbelievably cruel man, and we see nothing but the nicest thing from him, and it's so dumb. And then the next day,
I would marry him.
She makes a breakfast.
Why?
And he tries it, no questions asked, and he sips it 3 times. We get like a John Woo 3-angle shot. The sunlight booms in, and he's like, it's amazing. And she just turns to the camera, looks dead into the eyes, and just blushes with joy. Like, that's how cheap and artificial the drama in the show is. And it gets it only gets worse.
Mason, can I ask you a question? You might not know. I might have missed it. Why is it that when she touches the cherry tree at her house's main house, has memories of the tree that definitely blew away in the wind that she already touched?
Because she didn't know how to unlock
doesn't make
her
any
spirits.
sense.
Yeah, but why are the memories in that tree?
Were so tacked on.
They were not even at that tree to have those memories.
You're talking about when they went back to the house that was chopped down?
So there was the chopped down tree, but then she gets, what are their fucking last names? The mind reader.
Saimori?
No.
The Usuba.
Oh, Usuba.
When she's at the Usuba house, and she's like...
Usuba.
And she goes and touches the tree that her mom wasn't even fucking near. How's that tree going to remember what her mama said?
It's spirit bullshit.
Tell me.
Pancake.
It's not gonna.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. First of all, I just want to say that, again, I'm trying to be nice. I thought the first half of the show was solid. They set up her they set up her turmoil. It was very abusive. They laid it out very clearly. It was very 1950s Japan, probably.
It's
I
not
imagine.
1950. It's Meiji period. It's the late 1800s to the very early 1910s.
You know, when Supernatural was a thing.
Okay, look it up. I'm right.
Damn, that was pretty spot on.
Fuck you.
All right, at some
I know what I'm talking
damn,
about.
Damn, she's
Gonna
fucking
get
like a
Bad Men.
All right, so I was trying to be nice, but fuck it, since you're just not gonna be. So it was funny because her life is terrible, right? And Mio, I mean, and then my first thought was, and it's not to be somewhat intentionally antagonistic, but she walks into the, what the fuck is Kyoka's house called? Soma.
No,
It's basically fucking Fruits Basket.
No,
No.
that's Fruits Basket. He's,
Well, he's basically from Fruits Basket.
Kudo.
He's so
Kudo?
hot. So she walks into the house and the door opens and it's the old woman. And the old woman is really friendly. And I'm like, immediately, boom, all the rumors are fake. You gave it away right there because if he was some monster tyrant, the maid wouldn't be like so chipper and happy. So I'm like, oh well, you fucking blew that right away. That was a given away. She walks up to Kyoya and she's like this broken human and she sees, delicately I put it, and I await retort. She goes, and then I saw him, and the darkness of my heart, a flower bed bloomed in my heart, and all my darkness was blown away because I found a man that I love. And I'm like, oh great, so all your happiness was just brought back to you because you love because of a man. And I'm like, well, that's not very modern.
I think
that was my first thought. It was like, people are just gonna bitch because everything in her life that sucked was immediately erased in a blink because she saw a beautiful man. That was literally what happened. She said it verbatim. I will pull the quote up. She goes, my heart that was full of
we did not
darkness
complain
found
about
a
that,
sliver of
so.
silver light that shined through my heart and illuminated the flowers in the garden. That's some shit that she said, basically paraphrasing. But they don't fucking kiss even. They barely even hold hands. They barely share a moment of intimacy whatsoever for an engaged couple that are full ass adults that I'm just like, oh, for once, the happy marriage. I get what I want for one time. No, you don't. You don't get dick, you get nothing. Because this anime is just Kyoya's off like floundering with his grotesqueries and being overly daddy-like to the point where he can't even be home to take care of his fucking woman because he's off like being a literal piece of wood. That's what he is.
I disagree.
He's a piece of fucking wood.
Here's my take.
He's so serious.
They're not having the relationship yet because she's
Oh
not
my
ready.
goodness.
She's not. So
She's
I
so
do like
damaged.
the.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
So I do
love-
like the
Okay,
message of this show. She comes in, and in this house, she is met with very perceptive, empathetic, kind, patient guy. Every lady she comes into in this household just recognizes how precious and perfect she is and cares for her. From the family maid to the tailor to Kyoka's sister, they're all just giving her positivity and just being like, yeah, you go girl, here's confidence. Like, here's how you rebuild yourself. And, you know, it's all like the whole time she's like, I'm not worthy of him. Like, yeah, you're not. You can't even have a conversation with him. Communication is like the most important thing in a relationship. And she finally gets that at the end of the season. So hopefully season 2 now is her able to have the relationship. And I get if you're coming in here
But she
wanting the
still-
relationship.
I don't really care about
but-
season 2. I mean,
But she still has so much timid.
Yeah.
She's so timid by the end of it. Even so, it's like there's no development with her. Like
Bruh.
she needed more development from the whole entire season. And
Bruh should
the
have gotten-
constant
Ugh.
polite dialogue. I understand she's a very polite person. She has to speak in very polite tones. But the constant polite dialogue of just talking in circles just to be polite really drags.
Yeah, because it's fake
Really
as
does.
fuck. Like, say it with your chest and tell me the fucking truth, bitch. Like, come on. Not
gonna-
everybody is that nice.
I'm gonna
all the
lose my
time.
shit.
But the thing is, I love that he went and like got his sister to teach her to be a lady when he really should have gotten her a therapist to come to the house to teach her to like get over her trauma.
It doesn't even exist. And
I understand.
every single thing that makes no sense in this anime is just going to be boiled down to it's the Meiji era.
I understand that,
I mean,
but still,
basically.
it's funny. He's like, to make her happy, I'll make her be a Western type woman.
I mean,
But did she say that she
Well,
wanted
I don't
to do
think that was even
I get
his
that.
thing. That was her.
It was her
Yeah,
thing.
she asked him.
Yeah.
I think he's trying his best. I think he's actually a pretty good person overall.
No, yeah, for real. Like, I would marry his ass, but she needed more
Right.
than just, like, help, wearing a Western style dress and walking heels.
So now that we've gotten to this point, can we talk about what the deal is with Kyoka? Because he has this reputation of being a cold, heartless person. He literally tells somebody to die the moment he meets them as his fiance. That is the only piece of coldness that we get from him. And he says, well, I've turned all of my fiancés away because they only wanted wealth and status and etc. Surely not every fiance was a complete bitch within the first 5 seconds of meeting them. There's no reason for him to be like this. And if they need him to have some sort of flaw for people to dislike about him to give Mio pause, why can't that be resolved in the same way Mio has her issues being solved? Because that's what they really needed, was for him to have something for Mio to help him with, so that they can have like equal standing within this relationship and have a reason to like each other.
Well, now he knows that she's got the dream power, so, he can use that because that's something valuable that'll help him defeat the grotesqueries.
Yes, dream power. A skill that's only used in this very one-off case because he's injured, but he's sleeping. So we have someone with dream power, but that will not be useful really anywhere else.
They keep on saying it's all powerful. I don't know what's so powerful about it. She just can walk into people's comas and have nightmares. That's seemingly all she can do with it.
It's so powerful. We need to keep her isolated from everyone. And I'm going to fulfill that duty unless my grandfather touches my butt. And then I will say, okay, we can go see your husband-to-be. And all my reservations are gone.
Yeah, and then
I will
after
protect you
you
because
go
it
and
is my
take your
duty.
nap, and then when you wake up and you've saved your fiance, I'm just going to be like, okay, bye, you don't need me no mo. My whole purpose in life
That makes
doesn't
no
matter.
sense.
Peace, deuces,
They had
see ya.
a whole duel, and forced her to stay against her will.
And wouldn't let them talk to
And it's like,
her
"Bye."
or wear her kimono.
Like,
but he's like, seems good. My job here is done.
Okay.
Bye.
I got. Before we get too far away from the point, look, I'm a dude, and I have seen more shoujo anime than almost any other dude that lives in this world. I've seen it all. Fushigi Yugi, Howl's Moving Castle, all these shoujo type characters that exist.
Did you see Fruits Basket?
I've seen the original, and I'm just gonna tell you.
Count.
I'm just gonna tell you that I think Kyoka's whole like, oh, he was supposed to be so angry and like dangerous, and he drove off all of his fiancées and all this. It's just a trope, honestly. He's the same character as Hal. It's just a misdirection, carpet pull for the women on, oh, this scary mean guy, and then when you walk in, he's like, oh, he's just mean on the outside, but deep down he's a gooey, like, cute, lovable man who's a daddy.
Do you know
And
why?
that's what fucking Hal is. He's the scary witch of the waste who he's gonna fuck you up, and then when she gets there, he's like a little bit mean, but really it's like, oh, he's really just your daddy energy. But that's what he is.
Chill. Okay, you're really elevated for no reason.
But that's what it is,
Shut
though.
up. The reason it's like that is women like that hint of danger to keep things like
Yeah,
spicy.
that's fine.
Like we
Zesty.
want that.
But it's
That's
a
why
trope.
we're-
I
that's-
can fix
it
him.
is.
It's just
I
bullshit.
can fix him trope.
Yeah, we like the hint of danger, like he's a bad guy, but he's got a soft spot for me, daddy energy, like hoo la la. Like that's the same thing a Hal has. You're correct. And
Yeah.
This
I
show
am
went
correct. I can
from,
name 14
can
other
fix
anime
him
with the
to
same
he
thing.
can fix
And?
me.
it makes the pussies pop.
I was
so
I
why
was
not?
just merely answering Caroline's question about like, oh, why is he so scary? And then when we get there, he isn't. I knew he wasn't going to be scary before they even
I
showed up at
bet-
the house.
I knew this too, but I'm just saying, as what they needed to do with this show is give us a reason as to why and give him an actual character.
They needed to show, not tell. They needed to build out these characters, like your stepsister and stepmother, who is just ruthlessly evil in a way that is not explained with proper realization for the weird backstabbing whole middle arc of, oh, actually, she has power, so we can make her fall in love with the guy she used to be in love with, so I can marry her current fiance-to-be because I'll get his attention because now I find that he's beautiful, so now I need to ruin her happiness because I'm jealous. And it was this whole cavalcade that was very, like, we didn't get into, oh, Kaya's whole life she was brought up by her mother to prove that she's superior to Mio, but none of that gets established. We just see jealous stepsister ruins everything for everyone and locks her in a fucking shed for the 17th time. And the second that happened, I'm like, oh, I can't wait for the end of this episode for them to walk hand in hand out of the shed together as one. And they didn't walk quite hand in hand because Mio was a little beat up, but it was just so predictable.
I have two comments. Neither of them are positive. Surprise, surprise. But like, first of all, and I don't want to be gross, but like, that's all. I'm just gonna be, myself. The sex will be awful. Like, they will have the worst sex anybody has ever seen, because he is emotionally fucked up too, because he can't even like express himself honestly to anybody. That's why he's like a board of oak wood. He has to like just be overly serious and a dick to everybody, because that's who he is, and she's too timid to do anything. So these fuckers are going to go through the second season. I'm wrong?
Yeah, because
You want to make a bet about what happens in season 2 right now?
I'm not having a bet, but I'm saying their sex is going to be good because she can get into his dreams and get into the deepest, darkest part of his psyche and see what that man really needs to get the fuck off. And she
get in all those nooks and crannies.
Yeah. The second thought is...
Muttering that English muffin.
The second thought is, and I'm... Whatever, by the way. Give me a fucking break. That girl isn't getting anybody off. That blue dress, oh, she's so hot. I'm so rock hard.
It's
that
not
blue dress.
terrible.
Oh, well, a dude evaluating the outfit on a woman is telling you it's not attractive. I promise. I am
you're
softer than a marshmallow.
About a standard blue dress.
Oh, well, okay. I mean, okay. Putting that aside, the other thing I just kept thinking about, and Carol and Pancake explained this to me a little bit, but I just don't buy it, is that like she goes through this scene where her old family kidnaps her because politics and all this, and she's very strong and defiant in that scene. She's like, I won't renounce my engagement. I love him. I love him. And then they're like, fuck you. I'm gonna beat you in the face and cut up your clothing and all this. And then she's still like, no, I won't leave him. Blah blah blah. And then later, the fucking Detective Conan boy comes in with his fucking glasses and is all like, I'm overly smart and cliche, and I'm gonna like lay down all these facts on you and be all this smartness. And then she just basically renounces him and like immediately. They didn't even have the duel, and she's like, it would be fine if I left. And I'm just like, really? After all this? You literally went through this whole thing with your old family, burned down your entire family house to defend your engagement, and then this other family just shows up, and literally 8 minutes later, you're like, I'm fine leaving, fuck it.
Yeah.
That's how that felt to me.
Well, to be fair, at the time, she thought she was really bringing Kyoka down. She thought she was a drain on him, and it would be better for them both. Whether that's valid, it's clearly wrong. Like the whole point as the viewer, you're supposed to say, no, speak up, communicate. You want to stay with him. Speak your mind. That's all you've ever needed. This is the lesson to you, the listener. Speak up in your relationships. That's the only barrier to your unhappy marriage or happy marriage is you being able to talk. Just share it. And when she doesn't, it's so frustrating. And she knows that, which is why the whole last episode is her being like, no, I was wrong. I should have spoken up. I need to redeem myself. And that's, a good message. It's just frustrating as the viewer.
Yeah, I think we're being very harsh. Like this anime is...
Well, it's all over the place.
It is all over the place. The anime doesn't have the best writing. It seems kind of monotonous on the second arc. I think if they had better writing, the whole season could have just been about her trauma and her previous family and her half-sister and all that shit, and it would have been a better show. All we can hope is that with all of this...
Sorry, the cat just... the cat just took the deepest shit. It smells so fucking bad here. Holy shit. Damn.
All I can hope is that... I lost my fucking thought. I'm ADHD.
You literally got shit on.
Damn it.
All we can hope is that she'll be able to heal her traumas a little bit and come into more of a real person as opposed to this husk of trauma that has nothing really going on besides being, oh, I'm so sweet and kind because of my trauma. Like, no, I want you to actually get a hobby. I actually want you to say some things. I actually want you to make friends that aren't your fiance's sister or his maid. Like, yeah. That's all I want for this, is her to become an actual character them to fucking get married and do whatever with the fucking shitty ass emperor. Like, that's it, really. It just sucks that it's turned into she's kidnapped again.
Yeah, I think we all care for Mio. We want her to be happy. We, recognize the abuse and like torment she went through, and is like, yeah, like you go, girl. And we want that for her. So to like rip on her for being meek, or like, we understand, we know what's happening, and that's where I was like, when I did impressions, I'm like, the strength of the show will be very much tied to her growth and recovery as a person, similar to Violet Evergarden coming out with PTSD, a husk of a soldier, like having to be the person we all want her, that she knows she can be. That's like where the hang up is. And it's just, the sad character is surrounded by a cacophony of just really shoddy writing, really shoddy visuals, and just a lameness in a lot of ways.
I think the bottom
I
line
have several things on the list of things I really want to say, if you would let me, please.
Sure.
Okay. Why did the Bio family keep her against her will and then let her go for no reason? That was one that we already covered. Sorry.
Who's Bio?
Why didn't the dad, the
Biological.
Oh.
Why didn't dad, her father, give her to his friend's first son? That was a prerequisite to getting the second son, to marry
That's
Kaya.
what they agreed
There's no
to.
reason for him to not have. There's no reason for him to not have done that. I don't understand why he didn't do that. Also, why didn't Bio family scoop her up as a proposal to that Arata guy as soon as she was available, as soon as possible? Why did they not do that? No idea. Arata also said that he would teach her how to alleviate the side effects of her ability. He hasn't. He left, and that has never been touched again. What's the deal with the tree? Why can Mio see the past through a completely unrelated tree? Why did nobody acknowledge the strangeness of a tree stump withering away in a cloud of sparkly dust? Nobody questions it. It makes no sense.
What's the deal with airline food? So I thought, he said, what's the deal with this tree? What's the deal?
What is the deal?
What the fuck?
I have several more things I could mention
keep on
too.
going. There's so many in the
the
show.
Yeah, there's a ton.
Here are the missed opportunities section. Okay, so the Bio family could have been a really good narrative foil, because this show needed something. It could have been a foil to her stepfamily, because the stepfamily mistreated her because they thought she was useless. And now the Bio family is mistreating her because she has a powerful ability. That would have shown Mio that what's happened to her is not her fault, and shitty people will just treat you like shit. They could have done something with this plot, then they didn't. They just made this evil family suddenly good again, even though it could have been good for Mio's character development, of which we have none.
I just saw the... Sorry, I'm looking at our table on our document, and I'm looking at the pros and cons section. Caroline wrote a fucking book in the cons section. It's fucking
It helped
long.
that Pancake and Lady Emery and I, the three of us, we talked a lot about this show when we all finished it, and these are all things that I kind of thought of as we were talking, and I didn't want to not mention them here.
And by the way, you ladies are cute as fuck. I told Pancake that. I was like, you guys are so cute with your little chat, and I love it.
It's like a little girls' club.
Fight me.
Fight you? I was being nice to you. The bottom line with this show, and you know what, honestly, is that it was a better show, and it was about Mio getting away from her family and rebuilding her life and her emotional condition with this new family. That was the better story. But they dump that at episode 6, and it becomes just whatever, just nonsense. And the show is basically just an excuse for girls to squeal over Kyoka. That's all it is.
Yep.
That's the whole fucking show. Don't look into it too deeply. The whole anime is just, oh, the characters in the Fruits Basket, the dad of the Fruits Basket anime is so cute, or, you know, whatever the fuck. The king of N in 12 Kingdoms is so sexy. Or, you know, whatever. Or how, oh my god, he's so hot. Even though he's like mentally like a 5-year-old because he cries with his hair. You know, it's whatever. The whole anime is just about girls swooning over Kyoka and building up everything around it to make that happen. He's going to take in this damaged girl and treat her nice, even though he's a stern daddy figure, because that's what she needs. That's what this anime is. That's it. That's the whole fucking show. And he's going to show up and use his overly powerful magic because he's the daddy and defeat the other two guys single-handedly because he's daddy.
Well, that's
all the
I've
fucking
said
anime
daddy
is.
I mean-
way too many times. This
Yeah,
episode.
like chill. Like
I'm just
yeah,
telling you, that's all
the
it
point
is.
of the anime. Like that's for the demographic it's made for, is for women who want to swoon over a guy that's gonna scoop them up and make everything good. You know, I also had another thought because you just brought me back to the point. You know when she is like Miho, when she is like
okay, yeah.
feeling like, oh, I finally feel safe for the first time. I really wish they would have delved into that
Yeah.
because when somebody has dealt with trauma and constant anxiety and depression and just PTSD, the first time you feel the weight lifting, you almost feel so guilty, and it's like a melting feeling in your body. And I really wish they would have delved more into getting over trauma and getting out of the trauma situation a little bit better and more so. It's mostly just, oh, she's meek because of trauma. It's not all of these other things she does because of trauma or coming out of trauma and the guilt and the pain with that as well. Because she's not going to, as a person, you don't feel like you deserve to be away from the abuse.
Do you also wish this anime had just dumped the magic, dumped the side stories,
Yes.
dumped the Usuba bullshit, and just made
No.
it about her?
No, they should still have the Usuba. They should have stuck with more of dynamics between people as opposed to outside factors such as the grotesqueries, I think.
But
I
you
think
can't-
it should be more based around relationships. When you throw the magic in, it takes away from that.
But you can't get away from the magic and you have Usuba still there because that's the whole point of them. They have a special power. That's the whole point.
I suppose. I don't know.
But like
It
the
has a
whole
lot of-
the whole like monsters thing, like the monsters thing is just so like why even have them?
Yeah,
because
it's
they
like,
barely
where-
do anything.
Because it's anime, you need to have an action scene.
They don't even have action. They just stand
Bullshit.
around and pant. They
I-
act like they're tired because they just
I
fought
agree,
them,
it's
but they don't
awful.
show it. 'cause They
I
don't
just
have
watched-
to
Should have dropped all of that.
I just watched 9 rom-coms and none of them had an action scene. I don't know. This is, a romance anime.
I think we're beating it over the head at this point.
Okay, well, I mean,
I know.
Maybe
Unless
we are.
Mason, do you
Yeah.
have anything else?
Good moments. There were some nice metaphors here. I did like how Mio was looking at the flowers, and when asked what her favorite one was, she saw a weed, but it was still worthy of a name. That was very fitting.
Yep.
The parallels of them like imagining the other adorned with the gifts that they gave or made, I thought was really sweet. That's a very like there was nice touching moments.
There are nice things, yeah.
Yeah, like the end of episode 1 as the piano ballad plays as she's on the train to a new life that she's uncertain of what it is, but it is away from what she knows objectively bad is, touching. Like they just have the nice moments when they need to. But that was it. This really just felt like a fan fiction. This felt like
It did.
so wistful and shallow
Yep.
in a way that was just infuriating to me. And I think I'm ready to score it if you guys are as well.
Yeah, I believe I am as well.
I have a pancake first.
I think this is a 3 busted up kimonos out of 5. I don't think it's the worst thing ever. I think it's just fine. And the casual viewer would probably be like, oh, this is kind of fun. I like it. It's easy.
Who's next? Mason, you're the leader here.
Caroline.
Okay. As much as I have complained about it, because I certainly had a fair share of complaints, it wasn't that bad. It was okay. It had its moments. The music I really liked, and it looked good. I mean, and as Machen said, the animation did not look like anything amazing, and they couldn't fight for their lives. Like, seriously, there was nothing saving those quote-unquote fight scenes that they had. But it looked pretty, and it had potential. And I thought it could have been something a lot better than it was. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to give this show 2.5. I will protect you because it is my duty. out of 5.
Miss, would you like to go
Mitsugi.
next, or do you want me to?
I mean, it's
Mitsugi,
just-
there you go.
It's fine. Like I thought the first half of it's a tale of two halves. I thought the first half of this anime was like a 4. And that's why I told Pancake like he should watch it. It was coherent. She's damaged. She gets sold off basically. She's at a new family where she has an opportunity to rebuild herself and be a different person and recover and be happy. The family takes her back because of politics. This all makes sense. They kidnap her. He goes and gets her back. That was really where they should have kissed, probably in the storeroom. Very emotional rescue scene. Yeah, it would have been good. Doesn't happen. So the first half was fine. I don't know what the hell the second half was. It just opens up way too many plot points that aren't related to her at all, and it just falls apart. Honestly, the second half was like a 2, probably. And so I'm going to give it 2.5 cold, lonely nights out of 5 because he ain't coming home. He's busy with other things.
Maison?
I will be very generous and give this 2 Sakura kimonos out of 5.
Wow.
This was a
Something.
disaster in so
Destroyed.
many ways, while somehow also just being competent enough to tell a very bland story. And yeah, that'll do it.
Wrecked.
That be it.
And I will say I am disappointed by this anime because, like I said at the midpoint, I thought it was good enough to bring Pancake in. I recommended it to a coworker at around episode 6 because I was excited by the action scene. It was cool when he blew the front gate up, but so many things in life
when
I
he
have
blew
learned
the
to.
front gate up and came in, and then they instantly turned to night. So when they did a fire and lightning battle, it would show up better. Yeah, that made sense.
Meanwhile,
Well-
Kyoka is like taking his own sweet time trying to save Mio. He's like pausing every 5 seconds and walking
Oh, I
very
forgot
slowly.
my favorite visual thing. These like sinister grotesques have these like 3 red eyes in like an upside down triangle pattern, but when they're viewed from far away, it looks like little hearts. That was cute.
And why is everybody surprised when they like burn the house down? I mean, you fucking created like a fire tornado right next to an entirely wood house.
What happened to those people?
Their houses are made out of wood and paper.
Where'd
Hello.
they go?
What, the family or the friends? The family friends.
Everybody. They're like, well,
Okay,
that
so
burned
the
down
family
by
went to the
That-
countryside.
Yeah,
They went to the countryside because
just
they had
noped
nowhere
out of
left to
there.
go. They had
And
no
Kai went
money,
to
so they left.
work as a servant, and we get no follow up.
Yeah, like, but
Yeah.
what happened after that?
Surprising, didn't know
And
that could
then-
be a thing.
Season 2, baby, they got their hooks in you. Man, I really should have given this a 1.5, but I'm sticking
there's
with
so
the
many
2.
things
This was
that-
bad. It looked ugly. Don't let
God.
anyone tell you. The show was so ugly.
You just opened up a bunch of shit I,
I
don't
thought that,
understand.
okay, maybe I'm talking about the backgrounds. Maybe that's what I'm really liking.
Maybe the backgrounds were also muddy. The characters designs were
Okay.
lackluster. The color palette was overly tinted.
How-
Off-model scenes, stiff framing, lack of depth. Every time a character was emotional and they wanted to be emotional, their eyeballs were just pulsing like a heartbeat because they didn't know how to draw any emotion to them. Oh my goodness! They
So-
moved like janky, rickety puppets. Oh my.
Here's some more things. Lightning doesn't cause fire. What? It causes fire all the fucking time, everywhere. Like probably half of forest fires are caused by lightning.
Who said that lightning didn't cause fire?
Well, they're all like, "Oh no, don't use fire near the house. That's so dangerous." And I'm like, "Okay, but you just like riddled the whole area with lightning."
Well,
Well, it's
the
not his
lightning was
house.
very pinpointed.
Oh sure, it
Then
was
meanwhile,
because
the other guy
Kyoka did it.
let
It was
out
so
a
perfect.
fire cyclone.
And then it's like there's no lawsuit involved. Like you just burn down someone else's house and no one cares.
Why wasn't the emperor pissed
No, that
off
was the,
to
it
They were
was
begin
the
married
with?
fault
to
of the
each other.
family. It was the fault of the friend. It was
Wha-
not Kyoka's fault. that the
Why
house
didn't the
burned down.
emperor try to kill the Asuba kid, the half Asuba kid, to begin with? Now it's a problem because she's an adult. Like, bro, you had like all this time. Where were you?
The
Anyway, sorry. We
Kyoka
keep
has
on going
Kyoka
on.
has deep military
I'm changing
intelligence.
my score 2.5.
He has deep military intelligence about everything, including like the hidden locations of the grotesqueries. But the Usuba have managed to live invisible for like 100 years in the forest. What?
No one knows where they
No
are.
one knows where they are. What?
But
the-
they found
the-
you,
the-
and they're
the-
right down the street.
The old men are picking a fight with Kyoka in the courtyard while simultaneously saying, "Well, that's Kyoka for you. His power is unmatched." Like, why did you fucking fight him? Why did you even fuck with this shit? You knew you were gonna lose.
One more thing.
Wait a
love
second.
the little piece of lore they throw in. I love the little piece of lore they throw in with Arata going, your mother was a telepath, and they say people with her power will birth children with rare abilities. I'm like, what the fuck? That was my one F word episode, by the way.
Half
like,
of you,
that makes no sense.
Half the planet has
stupid.
Half the planet has elemental power, including all the people that are at that house, but yet they don't have any ability to put the fire out. No one knows any water skills.
Who is fighting
There's no
each
earth?
other, and where are the territories? What does each family like control? Why do they have the money? Like, I have a lot of questions.
Anyway.
Wow.
I just it's weird. It's like, oh, man, I don't know.
We need to stop talking
it
about
just
it
seemed
'cause
very.
It's gonna keep bringing my score down because I keep
it just seemed
finding more holes.
Now that we're talking about it, it just seems very incoherent.
Thinking about
anime.
it, you realize it's bad, right? Just like we said.
The more you think, the worse it is.
Still gave it very average scores.
And that's the problem. That's what I'm trying to.
Fine, I'm changing my score to a 2.
But it
Fuck
wasn't terrible.
It's a 2 now.
Hate it.
It's a 2.
I didn't hate watching it.
I didn't hate
I didn't hate watching it.
It was just you got to turn your brain
But
off.
here's
and
the-
Why
not
are there
think
so
about
many
it.
problems?
Okay, we're over time and that, but I don't really care. Here's the thing. By episode 10, maybe this is because we put the dub on.
Oh,
I hated
forgot to
Mio.
say
She's
that.
insufferable. Just I know she's traumatized and all this. Listen, save your breath. I don't give a fuck.
Look.
Honestly, she's annoying. Kyoka is boring. He's fucking boring. The Detective Conan guy he's so smart and clean and sexy and just fuck off. I don't care about you.
Who said that?
Oh,
No.
they want you to
He
think
thinks
that.
he's
So
sexy.
he's so perfectly dressed. He's so smart. He outsmarted everybody. He's got the glasses. He's got it. Please, it's the same character like pushes his glasses up, and all the women are like, "Oh my god, he's so hot. He pushed his glasses up."
No,
Honestly, that's just
I was
how
thinking
things are.
cringe. That's what I was thinking.
I was thinking
Cringe.
fedora wearer.
I thought
when
it was
I saw
Detective
him.
Conan's like offspring.
Oh,
Like he smells like Play-Doh and wears a fedora on a date.
We didn't even mention Kaya. She's fucking horrible. That bitch was
oh
terrible.
my gosh.
But why was
She
she
was
horrible?
terrible.
I need more
'Cause
as
she
to
was-
why I understand her mom brought her up
Because
to
her
be that
fucking
way,
parents ruined her.
But we needed some more development on that because she just looks like this bitch for no reason.
I think Kaya could have been a really compelling, like, sad
She'll
story.
be way better in the
But
sack
she
than
should have
Mio
been
will
such
be.
a
Like, her
good
entire-
tragedy.
Her entire worth is based on Mio being
Money?
worthless. And
Yeah.
when that's being when that's being threatened, when she thinks that Mio might have some ounce of worth, she's worried that now Kaya will be worthless. That would have been
bitch needs
interesting.
Therapy too. They both need therapy for different reasons. Your parents fucked you both up, and it's neither of your faults. And you guys need to talk to each other because you're sisters.
Well-
and you guys could have common ground there with how shitty your fucking parents are because they made you hate each other for no
Well,
reason.
that's
Or I could just hold scissors up to her throat and have no character growth or development at all.
Yeah, exactly.
We need
I
someone to be
could
bad. Might as well be
fucking
you.
Cut a kimono. I thought cutting her kimono was like so overly dramatic. And yes, the entire situation is a very, that is a scary situation to be kidnapped and like threatened by your sister. But she put a lot of emphasis on cutting a small cut into her kimono. Oh my god.
To
And
be
Kyoka
honest,
saw that one small cut. Don't you worry. He saw it. He was like, yeah.
let's be honest.
Dad.
You gotta admire Kaya's bravery to be standing over the bloody and beaten body of someone's fiance, turn to that husband
And
be
then
like,
start talking mad shit.
"What about me, though? I'm pretty poppin'. I look pretty good, right? I'm not a bad pick. Don't mind.
oh, that poor
you."
guy. Yeah.
Like, that's-
God.
She's just
Class.
insane.
Getting down to the core of it, and I realize this is like Google level shit, and I know we got to wrap it up, but like, I also found just the level of abuse of Mio a little hard to believe. Like, it was a little over the top, and if you Google it, was it common for men to have affairs in the Meiji period? Concubinage in Meiji Japan was socially acceptable. Men during this period turned to concubines for entertainment, emotional fulfillment, and sexual pleasure. It's not even rare. It's a common thing. Do your fucking research. It's not even rare for someone to have a concubine with which you could have had a child. So let's quit acting like we have to beat and abuse this girl as if she's like
They
the
were
devil.
married. That was his first wife.
What? Okay, then it's even worse then. They were fucking married. Honestly, just get over
They
it.
were
It
roommates.
happens. Like
Why
life,
pay
it
attention
happens.
to the show, Pancake, when you can just Google random facts?
Well, I mean, it's silly. I mean, honestly. And the next thing I'll Google is, did people in the Meiji period kiss prior to marriage? Don't even make me Google it. I know the answer is yes. So
Did
just,
women fuck? People to this day still don't know.
Were they popping that pussy?
Well, actually, so as we learn from the highly accurate Memoirs of a Geisha, which probably isn't accurate, the women were prized for their virginity in this era, so maybe that was valuable, but you can at least, for fuck's sake, like, this was my only chance to have a real relationship in an anime outside of, like, Paradise Kiss and Nana, and I still didn't get it. Like, they had less of a relationship than in the fucking Delusions in My Heart, Dangers in My Heart. Nothing. They did nothing.
She made him a hair tie.
He doesn't even care about her.
dinner one
He
time.
literally just, like, petted her, gave her fucking kimonos, and then went off and fought war against Grotesqueries and never went home.
Hey,
That's all he did.
They had a date. They had dinner one
He was
time,
terrible.
and he made her and she made him a hair tie.
Big fucking whoop.
Ain't
Oh,
Listen,
oh my god, a hair tie.
To be fair, there's just a catastrophic attack on the city. Like, he's doing his job. He's doing the best he can
Yeah.
do, okay?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was plenty of time in this show before the attack on the city, and I don't even know how much.
Against the weird cultists.
I don't
in the
even know how
woods.
much time passed. I do know that this anime is going nowhere in season 2. It's going to be about the Usubas and training her to be like controlling her dreams and the Grotesqueries, and you will get no relationship in this anime until like season 4, which is, oh, by the way, how every other anime is.
It's okay because I'll be watching it. I know I've talked bad shit.
Call
but
me
I'm
in
gonna have
2028.
it- I'll have it on, but this is a turn on the dub and just let it drone on in the background while you do other things because it's about.
I'll
that
play
level.
piano. I'll play piano.
Also, we
And-
forgot to mention how. Okay, so we would watch this
Oh my God.
at the end of the day in bed, and we would get tired, and so we would turn the dub on, and then we would notice.
It was
each
because we were
other-
smoking tons of weed, and it's hard to read subtitles while you're high.
I wasn't gonna say that.
That's well, I already said I smoked weed at the. And I already said you ate 3 edibles earlier in the show, so at the concert last night. Oh, that's sorry. That was in Hobby Addicts. AAApodcast.com/join
everyone
or
knows.
Patreon.
I'm
Who
still-
cares? It's edible. It's Denver.
Shut up.
Pancake,
So-
are you high right now?
No, I'm not.
Are you high?
Actually.
Oh,
Are you
Usually
smoking? Did you do the reef? Did you do the pot?
I didn't do the pot.
The
I
devil's
just
lettuce?
need-
Some guy at that
Mary
concert
J
offered.
courses through her veins. What was your point?
Yes.
Go
yes,
ahead.
please.
We would start talking mad shit on the show when we would switch it to dub because her voice actress is it's like this. I'm so sorry. I'll just go kill myself now. I'm so good.
So sorry.
Like that's it. That's her talking.
You have to say delete yourself. You can't say the other thing anymore. We're gonna get thrown off Twitch for sure.
Oh, sorry.
You whispered it though, so maybe.
Yeah, it was quiet. But we would start talking mad shit because the voice acting for her was so goddamn bad. We'd have to switch it back to subtitles, even though we couldn't read the subtitles because we couldn't handle it. We were just talking mad shit.
The first thing I said was, I realized that now that this is dubbed, I hate everybody in this anime. I was like, we have to put the subtitles back on, and so we did. Then we couldn't read them, so we had to turn it off. But yeah, it just
yeah.
I think
Anyway,
the sister ruined this anime.
no,
She came in and distracted from the real
He was
plot
a
line.
major
I
bitch.
think we've pissed people off enough for
No, we didn't.
just opening our assholes and just letting it be a chocolate slurry all over this thing.
Listen, I gotta tell you something. The people that listen to this podcast pass listener choice pass more rom-com anime than you've ever heard of in your fucking life because they thrive off of shit talk. They are here to watch me lose my ass. That is exactly why they're passing these rom-coms. I'm 100% sure. Look, they're laughing in the chat. More. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. I am crying laughing.
Do you
It's
think
just,
I can read the chat from over here?
I'm just saying, the people that are still listening, God bless them, are thriving off of this trash talk.
Well,
Don't make no
I will
mistake about
say-
it.
I will say that my aunt, who I only just recently discovered, has watched anime. I was
Wait,
like, holy
oh,
shit,
wow.
you watch anime? That's awesome.
You have a cool secret aunt.
Okay. Yeah, I had no idea until like this summer. And she was like, yeah, I'm watching this show called My Happy Marriage. And I'm like, oh, because at this point, I had not seen it. So I'm like, well, I'm glad that she's liking it. And so I finished the show, and I saw her yesterday. And I'm like, well, I finished my happy marriage. And she was like, oh my gosh, hasn't it been great? I am happy. And she still hasn't the last episode, but I'm like, listen, Aunt Sue.
Just
that
wait
really
till
her
you see
name?
the
Pretty.
magical girl transformation, because at that point there's no going back. You're just hooked in because that was just so spectacular. Oh.
Anyway, I think we're done.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, we said we should have ended this 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this.
So what is everyone's final score?
2.
What are we sticking with?
2.
2.
2
and a half.
for Mitz. Okay.
What's with the
Yeah, I'll
face,
stick with you.
Mason?
I need to be a good person.
Wow.
You know what? I'm leaving it at a 2.5. I'm sticking to my guns. This
Go
anime
back.
was not worse than Dangers in My Heart. I'm giving it a 2.5.
2.
Okay, Dangerous was not bad.
I guess I'm gonna watch the second season, so 2.5.
I'm more likely to watch the second season of Dangers than this. No, I'm not. Never mind. They're both pointless. I don't fucking know what to say to you.
I'm calling it. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. It was quite a doozy. Hope you held on tight. Hopefully we didn't shit on your favorite show too much. Check us out on Discord, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere you want. Mainly AAApodcast.com, where you can find all our bonus content, links to everything you know and love. Next week we're reviewing Reborn as a Vending Machine. Now I wander the dungeon, and I wonder why we're doing that. Yep. And we'll see everyone in the next week. We love you. Stay safe. Enjoy the weather. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.